Hello, my precious beans. How's the babes? Everybody can hear me, I hope. Let me dismiss that. Don't need that. Don't need that either. There we go. Now we can see a little bit better. Okay, how is everyone? It is Wednesday, my dudes. It's hump day, however you want to say it. Get that tucked in right there. Oh man, I might actually upgrade my computer to Windows 11. Now that I'm using Windows 11 for my work computer, it's really convenient, like having all these different like areas to the desktop you can drag things and stick them. Like, just for your frame of reference, the way that this is set up right now is on my secondary monitor is basically all of my stream health stuff, and on my main monitor is where, when we're reading an article or something, that's just where that's going to hang out. And basically, like, on the back, like on the full screen thing on the back is like the YouTube stream health page, which also has the YouTube chat on it. I have most of the YouTube information covered up with a pop-out chat window from my website. So I've got YouTube chat and website chat right next to each other. And then in the lower left corner, underneath, so I can, on the top left corner is like a screen where I can see what the YouTube output is. And then down here on the lower left is my Streamlabs. So, and then like anytime I need to click on YouTube for any reason, I have to then go back and find and like bring them back to the top, my chat and Streamlabs windows. Anyway, I'd say switch to Linux, but people are usually pretty averse to that drastic of a change. Yeah, I mean, the trouble with Linux is that everything is built to work with Windows, and everything just requires so much extra work to set up on Linux machines. But I respect the hustle, and maybe I will end up having a Linux machine at some point. Hi, everybody. I haven't said any names. Hi, Banana Brains. There's Dali, Miro Nono. Hello. Quantum Chaos. How's it going? RB. Hello, hello. And Frag DeLocust, Mabs, Lizzie Yao. We have a troll. We have a troll in the chat. Troll in the dungeon. I hate it when I make Harry Potter references. It's so annoying. It's just so deep in there, you know? Anyway, and then hello to the website chat. We've got Psychoplebalian, Nouvenon, Drea, hello. I'm running Ubuntu. So far, it's been all right. Yeah, I did have a Linux computer. When I moved in with my dad, he was like a little bit more tech oriented than I am. And well, I don't actually know. Maybe I am more tech oriented than he is now, as far as like the nitty gritty details. But he provided me with a laptop that was running Kubuntu, I believe, at the time. And it was nice. Yeah, I mean, it was fine. It worked okay for the basic kind of, like, there was a plugin of some kind where I could run Yahoo Instant Messenger, which is how I was talking to my then crush, who is now my partner. Yeah. Hey, everybody. A cabin to includes Tone Police. Yes, indeed. As usual, I find it so interesting, and I don't know if the troll is still in the YouTube chat. I didn't actually delete you from the chat. I just deleted that one comment. But the fact that y'all sit there for one full minute, y'all hit the subscribe button and then sit there for one full minute calculating. You're like, ooh, I'm about to harass this random person I do not know. Like, I'm just sitting here living my life, babe, you know? I'm just sitting here looking cute, you know? And you're sitting here going, how can I be rude to a stranger today, using the anonymity of the internet to protect myself from scrutiny? OMG makeup? Yeah, I am wearing makeup. I tried a little something different today. I do feel like, man, I do think if I'm going to be putting on my makeup for the purposes of being on camera, I need to keep open Streamlabs at the same time, because I feel like on camera, there's this like dot of much darker makeup at the top that is not really visible in person. I also feel like I didn't blend that out as well as I wanted to, but I don't know. I think it looks okay. Just didn't blend it out as much as I wanted to, and now it's too late. But anyway, I was going for like purple, but I don't have a nice purple mid-tone, so I went with like a bluish color. I feel like it reads as kind of purplish or almost like a lavender color next to this also very cool toned purple. I'm realizing I forgot to put anything under my eye, but that's okay. We're learning. We're doing things. The wings and the glasses are very sexy. Thank you. Appreciate that. I don't really know what it is that made me decide that I wanted to learn how to do makeup, but that's a new thing that I'm doing. Oh, this needs to go back over here. As usual, everybody, if we can get to the donation goal of $100, we will open the treasure chest, which is over there. Last time I let my partner put something in there. This time it's just little old me. So I know what's in the box this time, and I am looking forward to showing it off to you if we get to the donation goal. I always struggle with eye makeup. I don't judge anyone else's job. So I'm actually considering going to Ulta. I know this is very like, I don't know. If you tune in to a femme person, expect that maybe femme things are going to come up sometimes, but I do sometimes think that because of misogyny, we tend to like lose viewers when we talk about feminine things like makeup and hair and skincare and stuff. But anyway, I am probably going to go to like Ulta Beauty or something later this week to kind of consult with maybe somebody who knows about things. The main thing that I want advice on is eyeshadow palettes. Because like, okay, so actually I want to show you guys something. If I haven't shown it to you before, this is about to be crazy. Hold on, let me finish cleaning my glasses. And then I'll be able to see. Oh, thank you, Misty Hill. I subscribed to compliment your eyeshadow. Thank you. I'm so new at this, so I feel very good about getting compliments. I basically did a ton of research, though. I read a whole bunch. I tried to watch some videos, but I don't usually find makeup videos very helpful. So I just did a lot of reading and then like looking up images and trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do for my particular eye shape. But the bigger struggle I'm having right now is getting the right colors for my eye color. Okay, so let me show you what I have here. So this is part of why I have a trouble with like storing my makeup, is because this is my eyeshadow. I bought this giant thing off of Amazon like a year ago, which probably means I need to get some alcohol spray and like spray all of them and let them dry to sanitize them. I'm aware. So let me show you it on the inside. This says 99 colors eyeshadow palette, okay? And I am a much different person than I was when I bought this, so let's just be aware of that. This is basically, I think I just wanted options to do as many dramatic looks as possible, you know? So I have like a bunch of different colors, and a lot of these are shimmers or like even straight up glitter, which is great. It's been good. You know, I've been able to produce a nice variety of looks from this, but unfortunately, because there are so many different colors, there aren't a lot that are like matching and like made to go with each other. So that's the thing that I need to do. I'm going to go to Ulta Beauty and I'm going to be like, hey, can you help me figure out what color my eyes are? Like in person, up close, if you look at my eyes, they are blue with central heterochromia. But even in the mirror, I took a moment, I stepped back in the mirror last night and I was like, yeah, no, even in person, if you step away from me, my eyes are like cold, hard gray. Like my eyes are stone cold gray, which is so interesting. And so it makes sense. Like you guys said, somebody said the last time I was talking about my eye color that you guys had no idea that my eyes were blue. And it's because I think as far as you can tell, my eyes are like just fucking gray. Right? So that's kind of interesting. Meaning that it's tricky to, I guess it means that I have more options than if I had blue eyes. But I just need like a couple eyeshadow palettes that are cohesive. And here's what my assumption is. This is me saying whoa, hold on, undo that. I don't actually know anything about makeup, but here's what I think eyeshadow palettes are supposed to be. I think eyeshadow palettes are supposed to be all colors that could go with one another, right? As opposed to this giant thing. So you get like I'm assuming that you get like maybe 5 or 6 that are all like different shades of a similar kind of color. or like complementary variations on those shades. Because like I said, I had to mix like I just had to put a light blue on my eyes and match with this purple to hopefully give an overall purple look with this thing that I've got going on right now. So that's what I'm going to do at Ulta Beauty. I might not buy anything, but I'm going to learn. Can I call this my tea birthday? Oh yeah, you're starting tea today. That is exciting. Congratulations. We love it when our trans people in the community get to do the things that they want to do. So that's great. Don't forget to hit the like button, y'all. Lots of you have hit the like button, but it always immediately helps the show. It's quick, it's easy, it's free. And of course, I am accepting donations because the fact that I have to talk about politics still makes this is definitely still a job. Even though we're here chatting about fun stuff right now, still a job. My eyeshadow palette is a set of triplet matte / gloss / glitter combos. Nice. Yeah. And I'm still learning like where you're supposed to put what stuff. Like I know that shimmer goes on the inner corner. You'll see. I have such a shimmer on the inside corners of my eyes. And then like dark colors on the outside and various medium tones on the inside. But like exactly where you blend and where you put your medium tones and stuff, that's stuff that I still need to learn. You did a really good job considering makeup isn't real. True. True. I have the fun of my eyes change color. Yeah, so I think that that happens to people with like ambiguous eye colors because it's all about like the surrounding whatever. This is just a color theory thing in general, and this is why I find this so difficult, I think, is because I find color theory really difficult sometimes. But like, so if my eyes are truly, they're blue with yellow around the middle, I could, like, just because this is how colors work, if you contrast warm, like orangey, bronze, copper colors, then you'll pop the blue. The blue will pop, right? If my eyes look stone gray, then that might not work. It might not make any blue pop. It might just look like too aggressively warm against my gray eyes. Purple can bring out the green in, so if you have yellow right next to blue, then it kind of fades out into a green sometimes. And so that could be, I'm like, I don't know if that's working at all today, or if it's just that purple looks fine along my stone fucking gray eyes. Blues will wash out, especially because my skin is so pale. I don't think blue, I don't know, I guess this is like a blue color and it's working fine, but whatever. Anyway, color theory. This is why makeup is art, okay? Mabs says, my 4th tea birthday was the 20th of last month. That is incredible. I hope you're doing well 4 years on. Those are very nice glasses. Thank you. They're nice. I think I am going to stick with this kind of basic shape, but I do need more glasses. I mean, really, I probably need contacts. Does anybody else have that where, you know, you could have contacts or glasses, and maybe even contacts is the better option for fixing your particular problem, but you just like don't want to figure out how to put in contacts in your 30s? That's the conundrum that I'm having. Like, I have astigmatism, which means that my eye shape is kind of fucked up, and that presents difficulty with distance, or with like focusing my eyes at basically any distance is hard. And then I also am nearsighted, or no, that's incorrect. I'm farsighted, which means these are basically reading glasses. They basically are helping correct whatever problem I have up close with reading, so I can be on my computer and like read the chat without straining my eyes. And it does not do anything to solve my astigmatism. So if I need to walk around and do anything, I have to take the glasses off, or I can't see. Like, I get a little bit dizzy and stuff. So yeah, technically contacts would be the best solution, because the contact would reshape my eyeball, and also then it could fix the vision problem that I actually have of like, I'm starting to get blurry in the immediate area next to my face, which I guess is the thing that just happens normally when you get older. Darth gently says, I got my 8th tea anniversary in 3 days, and I'm still not where I want to be. I mean, you know, Everything is a work in progress. Make sure your dose is where you need it to be, etc., etc. Color theory won't save us when the reckoning comes. Well, I think that art is really important, so we could technically say that color theory is essential to the revolution because it's such a critical component of art. Oh, no, move that. Okay. Just wanted to move my monitor or my microphone a little bit over here. You're better at it than I am, I guess. I don't know. I'm really new at it. I've like dabbled in it periodically over time, but this is the first time I'm really understanding what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, oh yeah, Calacia and Quantum Chaos in here. Look at this. Finally, being on a big channel is benefiting me on my smaller channel. You'd be surprised, like, so maybe it's a bit different because I actually show up on the videos on the line, like, because I'm actually there physically. But you guys would be surprised how little turnaround you get with, like, people shouting you out. Like, remember when ContraPoints shouted me out all those years ago? Like, yes, it did boost the channel, but, like, way less than you would think. It was more like when I made a video that went kind of viral about ContraPoints, you know? Does that make any sense? I don't think she, like, when she called me out in a video and said Luxander is a critic of mine that you should listen to, I did not receive, like, a direct correlation bump, is what I'm trying to say. Jom Gervo, excellent name, says, working, your stone gray, blue eyes, rock whichever corrective lenses you prefer. I just don't want to learn how to, I guess it's helping desensitize me now that I'm doing makeup. And maybe that's part of the problem, that I did not grow up doing makeup, and therefore I'm not used to touching around my eyes. I'm very sensitive about my eyes. I don't like it. Whenever there's like a scene of somebody getting their eyes gouged in a horror movie, I don't want to look at it. I hate it. I don't like it. Volume C is a bit low. Yeah, I know. There's nothing I can do about it. I boosted the gain, but that made the audio all crunchy and fucked up. So like, yeah, trust me, I know. And I have done everything possible, and it is not something I can fix. I am considering switching microphones because I was given this microphone for work at the line, and I think it would be more convenient in a lot of different ways. But I'm waiting for the boom arm to show up for it, and then maybe that will help fix the problem. I'm not sure, but yeah, I know it's been a low volume issue for a while, and I can't fix it. I want to have brown eyes instead of my stupid gray-blue eyes. No, you gotta appreciate what you have, you know? Gotta work with what you have. Especially those things that you definitely can't change. Although I understand what you mean. I do think that brown eyes, I feel like I could rock brown eyes. Hey, Tommy Noodle, first of all, great name, says, I had top surgery 3 weeks ago. I'm excited to get some new clothes and maybe try makeup. Hell yes. I have definitely gotten more confident in my femininity the older I've gotten. It's like I realized that I was transmasculine when I was like 14, you know? And so I went through that whole thing of like feeling like I really needed to try to look masculine, and I really didn't like being misgendered as female, so I was like really distressed by that, and I had a lot of dysphoria. And I never really fully got away from it. I don't think there was ever a period of my life where I wasn't being misgendered as a woman, no matter how much I tried to look masc. And then at some point, I just like stopped caring as much. Maybe it was like not going outside because of the pandemic, and just kind of reset my relationship with myself. And now I'm like, yeah, I don't really care if people perceive me as male or female, or as a trans woman, or whatever. Like, it does bug me a little bit. Sometimes people will perceive me as a trans woman and they will aggressively use feminine language in order to be validating. And sometimes I'm like, that's uncomfy. because they're being like very directly targeted. I'm calling you a girl, and like they're trying to be sweet, but it still bugs me. John Gervo from Star Wars? I think so. Colors add so much beauty to life. It's true. Colors are great. I've realized that I like being surrounded by green. So I have like a bunch of fake green vines all over my office, green lights. I do have some real plants in this room. I have a little moss terrarium. It's great. By the way, there's 55 people. This is a just hanging out stream, so the quality of conversation is probably going to meander in this same direction. So if you're enjoying that, hit the like button. Consider pressing the bell notification thing if you want to. But hitting the like button is quick, easy, and free. And if we get to $100 in donations, preferably on the website, which is just a PayPal thing rather than through YouTube chat, but $100 and we will open the treasure chest, which is right back there. It's kind of hard to see because it's behind chat, but we'll find out what's in there. Oh no. Yeah, getting laser surgery on your eyeballs sounds like a nightmare. Especially because it doesn't always work for people. Like the long-term results of laser are not necessarily great, and like my partner was looking into getting some kind of laser surgery, or he was asking people what their experiences were. And like he ended up talking to an eye doctor about it. So my partner's thing is that he cannot really see very clearly in general. He's nearsighted. He's only got like 7 inches of usable vision, but he can see details within that range that I cannot perceive, which may just be because I am farsighted. But like, I think even compared to a lot of people, he is like more detail ability to see up close. He's got a magnifying glass kind of eyeball thing going on. And yeah, so for him, getting laser surgery to be able to see most things in general would actually make him lose that detail vision up close. And like, because of the types of hobbies that he has, it's just like better for him to keep that close up vision, you know, and like just continue to use corrective lenses. How do you do, fellow humans? The Fuzzy Logic. Hello. There's so many line people over here. Do y'all not like Matt? Is this where all the line people hang out when they don't want to hang out in Matt Dillahunty chat? I realized, like, it wasn't my plan. I had no idea what the line schedule was when I set my work schedule, but I'm always streaming when Matt Dillahunty is. I'm getting glasses this week for the first time. Should have gotten them a while ago. I'm also farsighted. Yeah, I probably should have gotten them a few years ago. But I also think, like, once they start to go bad, they'll get worse. And right now, I have a pretty mild prescription. Although my eyes are probably worse than they were last year. But my partner was like, wow, your glasses almost do nothing. It's like, yeah, well, I only just now started to notice that my eyes are blurry. And then I went to the optometrist and got glasses. Drea says laser eye surgery was the best thing I ever did in my 20s. Different for everybody. Calacia is present on the website. Present. Appreciate you being here. I think it's good to have a mix. It's fine to have a mix of people who are hanging out in the YouTube chat and people who are on the website chat. But if you want to donate, then it's better to donate directly through my website, luxandra.net/donate. Because, yeah, I only pay PayPal fees for that. I guess I also pay my website coordinator a portion of that as well. A portion of donations through the website, yeah, go to my website coordinator. But I feel fine about that compared to like, and it's only 10%. So I pay 10% of my site revenue to my coordinator, and YouTube takes 30 to 40%, which I'm like, damn, it's one thing for you to take 30 to 40% of my ad revenue. Like, I kind of feel like, sure, whatever about that. But of my super chats, like, girl, please, come on. I feel like that's not right to the people. I don't think I'm either nearsighted or farsighted as far as I can tell. if you don't struggle to read at any distance or focus at any distance, then you probably just have normal 20/20 vision. I'm just in my 30s and I'm starting to not be able to read up close as easily. Is that through Patreon or direct to you through this website? So I have both. I have a Patreon where people can subscribe, and there's like the special stuff that people can get. Like I posted a picture the other day. I post pictures of my cats. I post videos there that are private videos. Sometimes you get to see a video like a week early because I'll post like the half-finished version of the video for you to preview on Patreon. So that's Patreon, and get your name in the credits of videos, etc. Blah blah blah. And then subscription or donation directly through the website is just like a one-time donation. Or I guess if you can set up a recurring. Patreon takes 20% or so. I actually don't remember. So I've been using Patreon for so long that I'm grandfathered into one of the original plans, which I think is like they take a lesser percentage. I haven't checked in a while though. Maybe I should. But I feel like Patreon is good because it's reliable. I'm like getting the same amount every month. I can kind of rely on that in a way that like direct donations can just fluctuate, which is naturally a bit precarious for a content creator. So it's interesting because, yeah, donations fluctuate based on time of year and time of the month and stuff like that. And then YouTube,
Kalasia has donated $25.
Whoa. Thank you, Kalasia. You did not have to do that. Thank you. Appreciate you. One of the mods from the line, everybody. That's Kalasia. Appreciate that. That means we are 1/4 of the way to the goal of opening the treasure chest on my right. From your perspective, it's my left. Boom. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's almost the end of September. I have lived on the West Coast for the better part of a year now. The better part of a year. Cray cray. Yeah, so basically Patreon is the only revenue that doesn't really fluctuate that much. Occasionally you'll have somebody who's like card declined or something, but that stuff's pretty rare, so it is just more reliable versus, ad revenue is dependent on whether I upload it or not. Right now I have my Patreon set to just like a monthly, you just make a monthly pledge instead of per video. So occasionally if I don't upload a video, I still try to post other things on the Patreon, so you're getting something out of it even if I don't post a public video. But yeah, but if I don't post a video, obviously, then I don't get as much ad revenue, and so that stuff fluctuates. And even like how much ad revenue I get, because that's dependent on views, and you guys' viewing habits fluctuate throughout the year and throughout the week and stuff. Like you would think that viewership goes up over the holidays because people are not at work, but actually viewership site-wide goes down during the holidays and on certain holidays as well. Like Good Mythical Morning, there's some particular day of the year where consistently when they make a video on that day, people don't watch it because it's some holiday. It's either Thanksgiving or Christmas or something like that. So they just have straight up started making videos on those days called like "We Give Up" and like whatever and stuff like that. Where they're just like, whatever, we're just gonna sit here and not do anything. Or whatever. Like it's dumb, but it's just that reflective of, the viewing habits of the overall YouTube audience. What it turns out you guys do is you watch YouTube when you should be working or at school. That is what we have learned from that. And like throughout the day as well, like peak viewership time tends to be for me like afternoon. Which is like, yeah, so right after lunch, during the work day, during the school day, y'all are watching YouTube videos. Do you like the West Coast more? I really think it's beautiful out here. And I knew that I was going to feel that way because I have always wanted to move up here, knowing that, it's mountains and ocean and like lots of trees, lots of animals. I knew that it was going to be more politically progressive. I deliberately moved somewhere that was a little bit less like straight up blue Democrat area. Like obviously Oregon and Washington and California all have red counties, and I moved to a county that's more like a red county. And yeah, I mean, it's fine. In that way, like culturally, it's fine. I'm trying to make more friends, so I'll have a better feel for what it's like culturally when I start meeting people. Why are we talking about the Jedi all of a sudden? From my perspective, the Jedi are evil. I mean, I don't think that necessarily they're evil. They're just definitely not doing the Force correctly. But for all of the beautiful outside reasons, I do like the West Coast more. I mean, we drove basically an hour and we were at the ocean. And it's cool. There's like the coastal mountain range. So in some places along the coast, if you are going to the ocean, you're basically like driving through mountain bullshit. And then suddenly you like there's a turn in the road or you crest a hill and just boom, the fucking ocean is there. It's not gradual. You know what I mean? Like I've been to Florida and it's kind of like Florida's flat. You're like, okay, there's a gradual, I can see the ocean from far away, you know, kind of thing. Not so on the Oregon coast in certain places, of course. You know, different cities are going to be different, but yeah, I thought that was really funny. The first time we were driving out there, I was just like, boom, oh, suddenly there's the ocean. Great. "10:37 p.m. where Fuzzy Logic is." That's 8 hours. Oh yeah, no, that's about right. Yeah. You're in the UK. Yeah. I knew that. You were 6 hours away from me in my previous time zone, and now I am 8 hours separated. I try my best. I do the Wednesday show early-ish, and I mean, it's like pretty early actually to start streaming at 2 p.m. for me. 2 p.m. It's pretty early. Excuse me. And then yeah, on Sundays starting at 11 a.m. I do my best to please the English folks. We're on the Washington coast. Ocean is a block and a half away. Damn. I don't know if I want to be that close to the ocean, but I don't know. I can see it being nice for some reasons. I just personally, I'm like, that's too close to the ocean. I respect the ocean too much to live close to it. I'm like, listen, it's an hour away and then I can retreat inland. And that feels like a safe distance for me. I have thalassophobia though, so that tracks, you know? Mountain bullshit. Some of the best views in Oregon are driving through mountain passes shrouded on either side by trees. Yeah, truly. Yeah, I love driving through giant forests of old creepy trees. It's definitely a lot of fun. Yeah, exactly, Drea. Gotta be far enough away from the ocean that tsunamis don't wash my house away. Ocean levels are going to continue to rise, and storms are going to continue to happen, and there's been a couple of crazy storms on the West Coast that don't normally happen on the West Coast, so yep, I gotta be far enough inland. That's why I like the valley, you know? Because I'm far enough inland that I'm far away from basically where forest fires happen. Like, they don't really happen so much in the valley because it's wet here. And it's far enough away from the ocean, and I don't know, we're probably going to be pretty seriously affected by any earthquakes. I don't know exactly where the fault lines are. I'll have to look that up sometime. But I guess we're between two, and volcanic or seismic activity in one can trigger the other too. So, man, I've recently been learning a little bit more about the big one. Obviously, it's not the same as the California, the San Andreas Fault big one, but there's also an anticipated earthquake even this far north. I don't know if it's connected to the thing in California or not. I feel like it's different, but I don't know, actually. But you're supposed to have like 2 weeks worth of supplies ready because it could take up to 2 weeks to get to everyone who may be affected by an earthquake, like everybody under the rubble and everything. Whatever, like however intense it ends up being, you know? I feel nervous when I'm too far from the ocean. I can't relate. And it's nothing like, I don't hate the ocean. It's not an intellectual choice. I just fear it. I visited my sister in Kentucky last month. It was weird not seeing pine trees and tall mountains as someone who has spent their whole life in the West Coast. That makes sense. Yeah. I feel like, I don't know. I guess it is a little bit weird that I can't just casually, well, I guess the farmland up here, you can still go for a drive and it feels like a country drive in a similar way that it feels in Kansas, but you've got like mountains in the background instead of a big, big horizon and hills and stuff. So it's different. It's definitely different. As someone who only has to deal with drizzling rain in the UK, America sounds like a land hostile to life. The wind gets angry, the ground gets angry, the water gets angry. It's just huge, right? I mean, like, any individual one of these issues would probably not be that big of a deal if it was attributed to just one country. But, like, just think of the sheer scale of the difference between the size of the UK versus the size of the United States. Like, you almost shouldn't even call it one place because of how different all the different places are. So yeah, we've got like certain areas where we have like hurricanes. I guess that's the thing, is like, even though y'all are on the ocean, because of the currents and because of where y'all are, you just don't get like serious ocean storms, even though hypothetically you should be vulnerable to that. And I guess I don't know where earthquakes happen in Europe. I don't really think about it that much. Where in Europe are there fault lines? Am I about to have to educate myself about global geology because I'm just fucking curious about whether y'all have earthquakes or not? Hello, Marsh Melanie. Welcome to the YouTube chat. Hope everyone is having a lovely day. Glad I caught a Lux stream. I love watching you, Arden, and the gang on the line shows. Oh, what a year to finally start pursuing the real me. Yeah. Congratulations on your coming out, and we appreciate you watching us over at the line. My vibes over here are a little bit different. I've actually been trying really hard to not talk about politics over here, and kind of my outlet for that is on the line. So sometimes over here we do get caught up. If there is big enough news, we get caught up talking about politics, but we're trying not to do that as often anymore. So today we're just kind of, I don't know, I'm just meandering. It might be a little bit of a shorter stream. I haven't yet decided. So, oh, nope, that's not a secure connection apparently. Let me see a map. I want to see like a big map. Oh my god, why is that so crunchy? Ew. Europe's danger zones. Okay, I guess this is good enough. So, okay, this shows us where the plates are. So yeah, this plate, you're on like a big fucking stable plate, I guess, in the UK right here. So the places where there's going to be most likely to be earthquakes are through here because of their relative closeness to this clusterfuck of plates right here. Okay, cool. That's neat. So yeah, that's why y'all don't have to worry about tsunami. You don't really have to worry about hurricanes or earthquakes or anything up there. Y'all are just sitting pretty in the UK. Yeah, fault line. Yeah, yeah. You're not kidding. Fault lines in the Mediterranean. Yeah, not kidding. Arby says the UK is really lucky weather-wise. We do get earthquakes here, but they're tiny. Yeah, you would feel like the mildest shocks from the Eurasian plate meeting like the African plate or something. Yeah, that's what I've been reading. The fuzzy logic says, a word of advice from someone who lived in California for 10 years. You should stockpile at least 2 weeks of drinking water and dry goods and have a duffel bag with 3 days worth that you can grab and go if needed. Like to stay at a hotel or something. Yeah, I knew about the water thing. I think that the next few times I go to the grocery store, I need to just. I really like those Ozarka brand, like round 3 liter waters. I feel like those are good to store just because I feel like they stack super well, especially if you can manage to buy them in the box. There's like 6 of them in the box and they are sturdy as fuck. Uh, and I did calculate, like, or I not calculate, I Googled, for 3 people, I guess I should include the cat. For 3 people and a cat, what is the estimated water usage for 2 weeks for all needs? And just like get to that number. I don't know where the fuck we're gonna put that, but I guess it's like starting to cool off this time of year, so we could get like a storage unit or something. But then that would be not at our house. I don't know, whatever. It would still be our water. We wouldn't have to deal with the fact that there's shortages at the store. We have forest fires here. I have pictures from the big fires that hit several years ago. Well, yeah, but like the fires are like in the Willamette, or sorry, blah blah blah. They're in the like Columbia River Gorge, or like further east, and then the smoke can end up over here. But I feel like the actual fire risk within the valley is pretty low. It's not like moving to California where you're like kind of fucked no matter, well, I guess certain places in SoCal basically are. But in Northern California, is there as much of a fire risk? I don't know. I get the impression that it's like more moist up here. It's 1 gallon per person per day. Okay. I worry about storing water in plastic bottles for years at a time. So my plan is, and what I think that you should do, if you're storing water for any reason, whether it's for, you're potentially gonna have like a earthquake, or if you're in a hurricane zone or anything, any reason why you might need to store water, you do replace it after like a year or two. Pay attention to the expiry dates on the water, like, because there's going to be an expiration date on the water itself, and rotate it around. Like, the first water that goes in is the first water that you need to consume. So when you get new water, put it under or behind the first water that you bought, and double check the dates and organize them by the date if they are different. Like if you happen to buy water that expires at a different time, like put them in the order basically. And then, yeah, you should periodically like use those waters as they get close to their expiration date and buy new water to replace. Because generally speaking, so long as they are not plastic doesn't really hurt the liquid inside it unless it is exposed to extreme heat, which is why your soda and stuff needs to be transported in a at least somewhat climate controlled refrigerated vehicle, or it runs the risk of like being harmed. Which, like, I don't know. I don't actually know how many of like the Coca-Cola trucks are refrigerated. But so as long as you're storing the water in a place where it's like temperature controlled, relatively cool, then it'll stay good until its expiry. But yeah, use it as it goes bad or as it's getting close to going bad. Or if you're like, oh, I haven't checked this in long enough and some of the water is past its expiration date, if you don't want to drink it, you can still like use it for plants and stuff. Oh, also sunlight. Yeah, I thought that was a given, I guess, along with somewhere temperature controlled. But yes, also keep water and plastic out of the sunlight, keeping it in like keep it under the bed or in a closet or in the pantry. Or a lot of places in the Northwest, when I was looking, I looked at apartments in like numerous different cities, and a lot of rentals have a little storage unit outside. Like if there's a patio or porch, then there's often a little tiny room. So maybe your little tiny room, as long as it's not getting super hot in there during the summer, then you could store your shit in there. Ooh, that's a good one. Fuzzy Logic also says you can get refillable water containers made of stable plastics that don't leach. So that way, every few months, you just use the water in the garden and then refill the container. That's cool. I mean, I would wonder how stackable they are, because like that much water takes up a lot of space, and if you can get it to be a little bit more stabilized. Of course, part of my perspective on storing large amounts of water comes from having worked in retail situations and restocking them. So I'm like, okay, that's why I'm like, the Ozarkas, they come in good boxes, they're stackable, and you can stack them like up to 5 high before they become like a serious hazard. So I just think that that is a good way to go. And then you also don't have to like replace the water every 3 months. But it's probably also more eco-friendly to get the refillable ones. So, you know, making trade-offs. Ooh, the refillable water containers are apparently made to be stackable like Lego bricks. Ooh, autism ignited. A couple years ago, we had a fire that almost reached Portland's drinking water source. Oh, wow. Yeah, that would have been a gorge fire, wouldn't it? I like how we've had 2 different cat noises. Hi, Shakespeare. Shakespeare says meow, and then Nuvenon said murph, which is exactly what cats sound like. Does the cat hear? No. He's probably sleeping on my bed. He's a good baby boy. I guess I would also worry about, like, if the refillable water things... Hold on, let me see. Stackable refillable water jugs. Okay. Is this kind of what you mean? Like these that stack like this? So they've got like this... They seal up with a nice twisty thing? Or like these ones? These are like water bricks. Water storage containers. And I guess this way you have fewer individual containers and like less unused space in between. You know, like obviously the box of Ozarka waters is going to be full of some empty space because the bottles are round. Was not in the gorge, it was East Portland. Okay, okay. Big old water cubes, the ones that have metal cages. I've never seen ones with metal cages before. Marsh says, we usually have a flat of water bottles on standby, but mostly just refill 5-gallon jugs and use a bottle pump. Pretty minimal and easy. And if you want, you can even get glass ones. The glass ones are an investment, though, not too cheap. Okay. Store the water in large containers, then dispense as needed. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll look into something like this. Or like a combination of both. Like maybe I'll grab just like a pallet of Ozarka water because I can just buy that and then like start investing in these. Because that says $92. Is that for 4? $92 for 4 20-gallon... Or is that just one? Oh, and $92 is apparently on sale from $146. Okay, so for $92, you can get 4 of these 5-gallon stackable water containers. So that's a total of 20 gallons of stackable water. Wow. All right, cool. Also, I think that this is like a weird prepper website. It's from a place called Ready Store. Always here. Always ready. I'm pretty sure this is one of those prepper stores. I think Rhett and Link may have bought some like prepper food buckets from these guys to try out on the show. Health at every size PDX. What's up? Says stainless steel water containers for the win. They come in 10 gallons. Ooh, okay. 10 gallons is fucking heavy, though. For water, it has to be manageable for me to lift. I'm thinking about getting a stainless steel water fountain for my cat. I keep having issues with, like, the motor part not failing. We have had at least one failure, but the motor's starting to make a lot of noise. Even if we've done a pretty good job of making sure that the water thing stays full enough that it can function. Maybe it's because in Kansas we had really tough mineral water, but man, we have never been able to get a water thing. And like, so they work less and less efficiently over time, and they sound terrible. They keep making noise, and I'm close enough to the kitchen for enough of the portion of the day that I hate that sound. So I'm thinking about getting like a nice stainless steel one for like, because they're easier to clean and they tend to have more reliable parts. John says, once again, stainless steel is always the answer. We had a water fountain, but changed to a thing that looks like an office water cooler. Works great for the cat. See, the problem is that my cat needs there to be running water, or he'll knock his water bowl around. So I was thinking about just getting him a water bowl that is just too heavy for him to knock around. And then I was like, why don't we try one last time to get a good, sturdy, long-lasting? Because I think the last couple times my partner has bought just basically whatever cat water fountain is at the store. And like we haven't previously done any research about it or anything. So I did a little bit of research. I'm looking for the qualities that I like. And I might go ahead and just buy an actual kitty water fountain for the boy. The boy. Oh, one thing I miss about living 10,000 feet up in the mountains is that our water came from a high elevation spring. Best tap water I ever did have in Montezuma, Colorado. Ooh, nice. It's so interesting that I live close to mountains right now, but I am also closer to sea level than I was in Kansas. Huh. I have a stainless steel water fountain for my cats. Works good, but I do need to bleach it every month or so to kill mold that tends to build up. Ooh. Okay, so I had a thought. Could I take like a piece of pure copper and just put it in the cat water as it's like filtering? Because copper is hostile to living things, and I don't think it would react with the water in any way. Because, well, I guess it could oxidize because there's oxygen in the water. Well, no, but does copper oxidizes a little bit? But I don't think that it would flake off into the water. It might build up on the copper and need to be brushed off periodically, but I was thinking maybe that could be a way of managing any mold or algae or anything. Mold and algae tend to build up in those. I haven't had that problem so far with the closed water fountains. I mean, like, I feel like a plastic closed water fountain is more likely. That's actually a question I want to have answered. Can I put a piece of copper in pet water to keep it clean? There's a website that sells copper pet bowls. Petsupply.com says prevent slime in the dog water bowl with copper. Handcrafted copper dog water bowls from Ember's Elements. Now, just because somebody sells a product doesn't guarantee that it's safe, and I understand that. Catfountains.com says the short answer is that copper is absolutely safe as a material for delivering potable water and is in fact beneficial. Copper is antimicrobial and will reduce water and molds. I mean, it seems like we haven't found any noticeable health complications with that. So, have you considered a generic water bowl? What do you mean? Do you mean like, have I considered putting just a bowl of fucking water on the floor? Because my problem is actually that my cat knocks the water bowl around. Because cats have an urge to have running water because it's safer for them to drink running water biologically. So they have an instinct to want to drink running water. That's why cats get up in the sink. They want the sink water because it's like the freshest water. It's a biological urge. So my cat like knocks the water bowl around I think as an instinct to like get the water moving. So he prefers a fountain quite a bit, and I prefer a fountain so that I don't have to step in fucking water and get my socks wet all the time in the kitchen. Penny is mostly not copper. No, I would never drop a penny in. Oh no. uh a penny has a bunch of other shit on it, and like they're disgusting, like they're so dirty. Even a brand new penny, I don't know. So I'm thinking more along the lines of just like a blemish free piece of pure copper that I know is pure copper. um that might be preferable to a penny. Like I guess technically the coating of copper on a penny would be copper, but it's such a small amount of copper, and like the fact that coins are gross and money is gross, I just flinch at the thought. My cats prefer standing puddles in the garden with stuff growing in it. Ew. What a gross little goblin you have there. I was sending pictures of my cat to Arden today. I decided I'm going to start texting Arden pictures of my cats and stuff like that. So she sent me a picture of her cat, and I was like, at the time I was doing my morning workout, and I was trying to do glute bridges. So like you lay on the floor, you put your feet down on the floor, and you press your hips up, you know? Glute bridges. And the cat was just like, hello, can I interest you in some of my presents? And I was like, I took a picture of him. He's like this far away from my phone. I'm like taking a picture of him. I'm like, this criminal will not allow me to finish my workout. And then a little while later, he was sitting on the floor like more normal. And I took another picture of him, and I was like, a perfect gentleman who does not know what crime is, who has never heard of crime. I don't know why I thought that was so funny. A perfect gentleman who has never heard of crime. My little brother's cat licks bricks. Fascinating. Cats are weird. My cat licks plastic. He does not eat plastic. He does not chew. Well, that's not entirely true. These vine leaves are made out of some kind of plastic that he will actually try to eat and like put holes in it and try to nom 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 devour. But most other types of plastic, he just licks it incessantly. Money is gross until you dunk it in bleach for a bit. Sure. Yeah, totally. You could do that, I guess. Again, there's just so many crevices on a penny that I would feel like weird about it. You ever think about like you ever look at the back of a penny and see the little detail of Abraham Lincoln sitting in the Lincoln Memorial? I had a black lab that chewed on bricks and beer bottles. That's a hometown doggy. My kitty used to eat corn on the cob, including the cob. My cat wants to eat, he wants your Starbucks Frappuccino, the ones that come in the glass bottle. He wants that. He wants your dark stout beer. He definitely wants that. He wants your coffee, which I guess goes without saying because he wants your Starbucks Frappuccino, but he wants your regular coffee too. He wants kombucha. He wants water unless you put lemon in it, and then he's like, no thank you, I don't want that. What else does he want? He wants whiskey. And I don't think there's anything else particularly weird. He usually doesn't want your tea. Doesn't want tea. He doesn't usually want soda, I don't think, but I don't drink soda very often, so I don't offer it to him very much either. Lincoln is chilling on the back of the Fiver as well. Yeah. It's just that he's little itty bitty 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 on the back of a penny, and it's like a cool little detail that they made a tiny little sitting down Lincoln in the little building. Brass should have the same antibacterial effects while being less prone to oxidation. Okay. Might check that out. Is that oxidization? So, Drea, I think that copper oxide is actually like a dirty brown, gray color. The greenish blue, I believe, is a reaction with salt. Cause like the and also ammonia can do that. Cause one time one of my cats peed on something that had some copper in it, and the copper did that blue buildup stuff. Um, but I think that, yeah, I think that like the Statue of Liberty, I think what's happening to the Statue of Liberty is the salt from the ocean. But I have a lot, because so the reason that I believe that is that I have a ton of copper stuff around. I used to make jewelry out of copper, like sheet copper. I have a bunch of copper left over from when I was an electrician, and it will develop a dark gray patina that can be wiped off. But so far, none of my copper that has simply been exposed to air has turned blue. It only gets that brown gray color. So that makes me think that the brown gray is copper oxide, while the blue is something else. What is... Oh, that's a great question. What is the blue on the Statue of Liberty? Is it... Man... Okay, you know what? I'm gonna... Google fucking sucks. The Statue of Liberty is seen as the P-post for all of the cats of New York, hence the green. Exactly! How to Rule an Asteroid, welcome in. RoboDog 2.0, hello Lux, looking cute today. Yeah, thank you. Sorry that the world doesn't match. Yeah. What kind of whiskey does the cat enjoy? We usually drink, Jack Daniels. So, that's what he likes. Thank you about telling me I look cute. I did makeup today. Makeup. It might be some kind of, like, sulfur? Okay, yeah, so the green patina is made up of basic copper carbonate and chloride salts. Okay, so it's, I guess, like, copper oxide forms, and then copper oxide can then further have a reaction with chlorides. Okay, cool. Neat. Okay, yeah. Yep, it's copper salts. Copper chloride, copper carbonate. Okay, cool. Yep. Salt. Salt. So I came up with a very funny analogy recently regarding how to use ChatGPT. Obviously, or like any LLM, I guess, like, because obviously there's the issue with them, you know, using too much water and stuff. But like, just generally speaking, using an LLM and the fact that they tend to hallucinate and all that kind of stuff. So I think you should treat an LLM like you are the king, and the LLM is an advisor of yours. But it's one, and like, you are skeptical of your advisors. You know, you have to recognize as a canny ruler that your advisors have their own interests at heart. They have their own, they grasp for power. They have their own priorities. But you have to keep a friendly relationship with them. You have to listen to their advice often enough to keep them in your circle. You can't ignore them all the time. And sometimes they do bring you valuable information and good advice. But also, you never know when they may be serving their own interests. and lying to you, or subtly twisting information. So you have to maintain a skeptical kind of eye, double check what they tell you, corroborate what they tell you, and, you know, take it with a grain of salt, while still understanding that probably a decent portion of what they say is accurate, just keeping a little suspicious eye. So I think that's kind of how I use ChatGPT, is like, you know, I double check what it says. I suspect it may be lying to me at any time. I ignore all of its ass kissing. I ignore all of that stuff. What's your fave game? Do you mean like my favorite video game? Right now, the video game I've been playing the most is called Tavern Master. Other than that, I haven't really been playing a lot of games. I was playing a lot of World of Warcraft, but I've kind of come back off of that. I just haven't been interested in playing. I think I just have a shitty guild. I think I just don't like my guild, and that makes it hard to play. I also think I don't like playing on Alliance, and my partner was like, let's play Alliance. But now we've, like, invested almost a year into leveling a bunch of different characters on Alliance. And I'm like, I'm having so much more fun on my Horde character that I made just to dick around. I just like Horde better. I almost did a career change because ChatGPT said I was a great writer. Felt a little sheepish, but hey ho. Yeah, I do ask it for opinions on things sometimes. But, yeah, I'm never sure how to take those. How to Rule an Asteroid said, I tried to use ChatGPT to do a live trivia night, and most of the answers, even the easy ones, were incorrect. Wow. Well, I'm not using it to try to come up with specific facts, I guess, and that might be part of the thing. Like, you can't ask it any specific questions about World of Warcraft, for example. But if you're asking it something that, like, is basically like a summarization of a Google search, I think that is more likely to yield you something that you want. Especially if you specifically ask it, like, hey, can you help me find specifically something, blah, 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 and then they'll provide you with links so you can understand their rationale and things. To be fair, it was Mesozoic trivia. Yeah, I'm just saying that I don't expect it to know very many specific facts. I expect it to be able to give me, like, an overall review of a subject. ChatGPT is really bad at making legal Yu-Gi-Oh moves. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, ChatGPT caused me to lose my chess match. In like 3 years, there's going to be so much money to be made for businesses that specialize in untangling all the garbage spaghetti code written by GPT and Grok. You know, that is fair. I know that that's already a thing. That people, you know, use ChatGPT to produce some code. And it does work for some very small things and very specific situations. Like, my partner has used it to do little tiny Arduino projects and little Raspberry Pi things. But yeah, anything more complicated, I can imagine it would get real fucked up real fast. Would you play games on stream? I have played games on stream before, and I guess I would consider it, but I feel like I've cultivated a community that is more interested in just sitting here and chatting, that maybe sometimes I feel like when I start to do a gaming stream, I lose viewers. So I think that that's just not something the majority of my viewers are interested in, unfortunately. Also, it's pretty hard to focus on talking and streaming and gaming at the same time. So there's probably some kind of quality loss where, like, my thoughtful commentary gets interrupted and is less thoughtful because I am trying to play a video game at the same time. How to Rule an Asteroid says, I'm using ChatGPT partially to teach me as an ex-young Earth creationist how evolution works. It has been interesting so far, but it cites things and I can read the papers for myself. Sure, yeah. I think it's good for something like, yeah, where you're basically just using it as a form of enhanced Google search. Because I think Google fucking sucks. And this is part of the thing, is like, I'm okay with using ChatGPT in some situations because when you Google, first of all, you're getting a fucking AI response anyway if you use Google. And it sucks and it doesn't know things and the front page results suck. So yeah, as long as you're applying an appropriate level of skepticism, I do think that ChatGPT can at times be more effective than a Google search for summarizing issues or finding papers or finding information or something. Actual Goth, hello. Oh, you're Jess from Canada. Oh, okay, hi. Jess from Canada, How to Rule an Asteroid is one of our call screeners on the line. What's up? Hello. Using an LLM for chess is crazy. There are so many dedicated chess bots. No, yeah, I was making a joke about like someone would be an idiot to use ChatGPT for that was kind of the joke. I don't know, maybe somebody's done it. Quantum Chaos says, my boss told us that we won't ever need to hire another engineer because we can use GPT to do it all. He was mistaken, and we have a new engineer starting in a few weeks. Yeah, that's great. Been playing through Hollow Knight and Silksong over the last month or so, and it's been a blast. Cool. Yeah, I am thinking about getting Hollow Knight because my partner was like, why haven't you played Hollow Knight? He was like, do you not like Metroidvania games? Or actually, he led the conversation by saying, there was a Metroid game that you really liked, right? Like one particular Metroid game? And I was like, yeah, I bet it was Metroid Fusion. I played the shit out of Metroid Fusion. I loved that game. There was some other Metroid game that was also on the Game Boy Advance that I played not quite as much, but I think I got like a cartridge that had Metroid Fusion and the other Metroid game on there, but I just happened to like Metroid Fusion better. So I played a lot of it, and he was like, wait, why haven't you played Hollow Knight? If you like Metroid, and you like other Metroidvanias, like Ori and the Blind Forest and the sequel are Metroidvanias that I played, and I was like, this is crack for me. It's so good. It was so challenging, but also just, like, really fun. And he was like, why haven't you played Hollow Knight? And I was like, well, it has a reputation for being really hard. So I just have been kind of afraid to play it, I guess. And he was like, yeah, but that's just Metroidvanias. They're just hard until you learn the boss pattern, and then they're less hard. And it's just about executing the timing correctly. And so that has kind of led me go to, oh, you know what? Yeah, Ori and the Blind Forest was fucking hard. But I beat it, and it felt really good. Every time I would, like, fail at something. Although I have to be fair, Ori and the Blind Forest had an incredibly forgiving death system where I think you would just, like, reset back to where you just were. If you kept screwing up and, like, if you kept doing the jump wrong or whatever, I think it would just reset you back where you were. So if the game is any more punishing than that, that's when the issue can come, where it's like, you know, you die frequently, but also you have to walk all the fucking way back. Like, that's a problemo. But I've heard that they're really good, and I do want to try them. Arby says, it is hard, but fair. I've died a lot, and very rarely has it felt like bullshit. Okay, yeah. That's the thing, is in Ori, there were some times where I would be like, oh my god, this is bullshit. Like, I can't fucking do this. Like, they've designed it to not be doable. And then I would do it. And I'd be like, okay. Because the thing is, like, sometimes you're trying the same thing over and over, and you think that you're not doing the correct thing. So you end up, like, looking up how to do it because you've done it, like, 30 times. And then it turns out you were doing the correct thing, and you just need to get your fucking timing right. Get good, bitch. And you're like, okay, at least I'm smart enough to know what I'm supposed to be doing, even if I can't fucking do it. Like, that's the experience of playing a Metroidvania. I've not played Ori, but it looks so pretty. Yeah, it's pretty, and it has a great soundtrack. I know I'm like 1 degree separated from a person who worked on that game's soundtrack. Dying constantly is my life experience playing Ready or Not the last few weeks. I think I died 300 times in the last mission I played through. Yikes. I'm not familiar with Ready or Not, but I guess it's hard. Metroid Fusion was one of my favorites. Still gets me spooked out a bit, like childhood PTSD getting chased. Wait, what? Was there a chase sequence in Metroid Fusion? Metroid Fusion is a side-scroller. Like, I know that there were some Metroid games where stuff could sneak up behind you and it was more of like a first-person game. But I'm talking about one that was a side-scroller, so it was less like... I don't know. I feel maybe there were like 1 or 2 chase sequences or something. I just started Metroid X Fusion, a ROM hack that has stepped up Fusion into one of the best GBA games possible. Insanely good. Okay. Mabs shouts out Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. Played the ever-loving shit out of that game. Nice. The suit was filled with evil and would stalk you. Oh, yeah, sure, yeah, okay, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you were... Occasionally there would just be, like, a super strong version of Samus in the suit walking around, like, and you were like... And then she would leave and you'd be like... I'm gonna go this way. Like, I'm gonna go the opposite direction that she just went. Fusion absolutely had traumatizing chase scenes with your evil clone. Okay, yeah, I guess I found that just really exciting. Is there some mysterious box present again? Yes! I know what's in it this time. So yeah, we've only gotten 1 donation today. Thank you, Calacia, for shout out for the donation earlier, but in the treasure chest, right over there, you can see there's the front of the treasure chest right there. It does have something secret in it. If we can get to $100 in donations today, preferably through the website, but super chats do count. Games that spawn you just before where you were when you... Wait, hold on. Games that just spawn you right before where you were are God's strongest soldiers. True! Yes. Metroid Fusion was the only Game Boy game to ever truly scare me, and I love scary games. Don't know why that one gets me so good. That's funny. It's like if I would try to play Subnautica, it would just be a horror game, even though Subnautica is just like a normal survival game, basically. Marshmelanie says, me playing Sonic the Hedgehog and literally dying from anxiety on the underwater levels as a kid. Especially the pink liquid on Chemical Plant Zone. Why so pretty but so scary? It's so weird, the little things like that. It's like, I'm just terrified by this video game. Subnautica is absolutely a horror game. Is it I didn't think it was supposed to be a horror game. I thought it was supposed to be just a regular survival game. And then I just watched Markiplier play it, and he has thalassophobia, so he was like, ah! I don't like the ocean. It's not my favorite. It's not for me. Not really my thing. The Sonic drowning music is made of anxiety. Oh no. Subnautica is something different. I have watched 50-plus-year-old bikers scream at that game. Okay. Later, Quantum Chaos. Yes, catch you tomorrow at Takis. I will be on Takis tomorrow. Anything under 10... Anything under 100 meters is horror. Anything above 100 meters is either pretty or annoying. In Subnautica? Yeah. Subscribe, click the bell, join my Patreon. I don't know what the devs of Subnautica say, but it is horror regardless of what they say. Regardless of their intentions, it is a horror game. That's what the community has decided. Subnautica is a horror game. My hair is just not being cooperative today. Let's do this. At least we've got some volume in this direction. There we go. I play Subnautica on no die mode so that I can mostly get through it. I treat it as a horror game even then. The first time playing Subnautica, oof, the almost drowning getting to the surface triggered my memory of scuba diving training when I had a claustrophobic reaction. It put a deeply unnerving feel in me. I always watch my oxygen in that game. Gets me too. Ooh, yeah, no, it's not for me. I used to play through the first 2 bosses of my favorite game as a kid and then start over when you get to the shark boss. No! But yeah, I have been playing, like, either super chill games or just not playing games lately. I don't know, you know, starting a new job and, like, my teenager having some increased, needs recently. It's just been, I don't know. I haven't been wanting to do... Oh, so here, what I've been doing recently is watching Attack on Titan. That's my new fixation right now, is watching Attack on Titan. And then also trying to get work done. I did record my True Blood video, so I'm working on editing that now. And I've got more editing to do for, like, my little clips channel from the line. Apparently, this is the first confirmed video of a sperm whale eating a giant squid. So that's interesting. Om nom, chomp chomp. Chomp chomp, he say. Science news. OMG, I love Attack on Titan. Yeah. I've only seen it up through, like, the 3rd season. So I'm gonna try to finish it. It's so hard to put away. Is this normal for anime? It's been a long time since I really watched anime. And typically I watch stuff like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. But the way that they take, like, a single plot point and drag it out through, like, 8 episodes and they leave it on such cliffhangers. I meant to go to bed at, like, 11 o'clock last night and I stayed up an extra hour to watch 3 more episodes of Attack on Titan just to feel like I got to a, like, stopping point where I didn't want to know what was going to happen next. Have you heard of Strange Horticulture? I don't think so. Let me open it up on Steam real quick, assuming that that is where it is. I guess whales are omnivores? Yeah, I mean, actually aren't whales, like, mostly carnivores? Like, they eat krill, and aren't krill little animals? So... Strange Horticulture. Oh my god, Euphoria Classic Regrowth Mode. New Euphoria game. Fucking let's go. Get hype. Strange Horticulture. I'll check it out. Oh my god. Oh my god, Steam is being so slow. Yeah, it looks like Strange Horticulture is on Steam. I just beat the Savage Beastfly for the 2nd time. Been trying since the stream started. Nice. Congratulations. I just try to watch shorter animes. I do not want to get into a 200+ episode show anytime soon. No. To be clear, I will not watch an anime that is that long. No. There are 4 seasons of Attack on Titan, and then it's over. That's my understanding. Let me go ahead and pull up. Let me just double check. How many... let's say how many episodes of Attack on Titan. A total of 94 episodes. Okay? So only 94 episodes, 4 seasons, and then it's over. So I am not going to sit here and watch One Piece or anything like that. No. So the thing that I was more complaining about is just the fact that, like, Attack on Titan is very compelling and they cliffhanger certain episodes, or, like, this entire story that they're trying to tell takes, like, 6 episodes to tell the whole story from beginning to end. Like, oh, the attack on this one city, like from beginning to end, 6 episodes, so I'm locked in. It's so hard to get away from it. I'm like, this is just so good. Compelling television. No, I don't want to watch the 2015 Attack on Titan live action. I don't want to. I'm not gonna. You can't make me. I don't want to. What TV shows have y'all been watching lately? Like, I finished watching True Blood, decided to make a video, went ahead and did that. Watching Attack on Titan now. We're about to start watching the Ari Aster movies for the podcast, so I need to watch Hereditary. I've never seen Hereditary before. I don't really know anything about it. I am not going to watch One Piece. I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. No, no One Piece. Any Knights of Sidonia enjoyers? It's only 2 seasons and a movie. Have not heard of that one. I watched the first part of the live-action Attack on Titan. I dug it. Felt way more like a Godzilla flick, and that appealed to me. Okay, sure. So if I watch 2015 Attack on Titan live-action, watch it with the understanding that this is a Godzilla movie, basically, and not Attack on Titan. Oh my god, Supernatural from start to finish for the first time, which took like 3 months. Ugh. I would not watch Supernatural either. Too many episodes. Binged Alien Earth today. Okay. I've heard good things about Alien Earth for the most part. Hi, Naomi. How's it going? Yeah, I don't know. The Good Doctor is one of those ones where I hear a lot of people say good things, but I just don't care. Sometimes I just don't care. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, I'll go ahead and watch Viren. Oh, Viren's not here right now, but today Viren defended his thesis and is now Dr. Lord Viren. Oh, that's so cool. I bet he's out celebrating with his wife. So that's why he's not here at stream today. I just went to the Discord and saw that he defended his dissertation today. Or did his dissertation. I don't fucking know. I'm not a PhD student person. I don't know. Neither is he anymore. Goodbye, actual goth. Having fun. Having fun. Good night. Sarah Jane Adventures. Ooh, okay. Cool. Old free movies on YouTube. Yeah, that's pretty good. The Dr. Lord, indeed. That's the second time that there's been somebody in my community who has gotten their PhD while being a member of this community. The other one is Decoy Duck, who doesn't show up super often, but occasionally. Sometimes I want to become a doctor in something, but then ADHD. People with ADHD can become doctors. It might be harder, you might need more accommodation, and you might need to find the right medication, but, like, it's possible. You can do it. Definitely. Ugh. Oh, my neck is sore. Ugh. I doubt I'll ever get my bachelor's even. You know, I haven't really thought about getting, like, a full-on degree. I just want to take classes. Yeah. Thank you, Shell O. Oh my gosh. Been down with a broken leg and struggling with dysphoria. I've got myself together, but no energy for makeup. I've got Trans Alliance tonight, and I'm showing up boy moding. Wish me luck. Aw. So I hope that your leg gets better soon. I do also think it's very funny when trans women get to this place where they're like, ooh, I'm just gonna boy mode today, but then y'all can't do it anymore because y'all have been on hormones for too long, and it's like your face is a woman face now, and you got titties, so it's hard to boy mode at a certain point. You can only hide it for so long. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that, and I hope that you get better soon. That brings us to $35 on today's stream goal. So we just need $65 more to open the treasure chest. I think you all really enjoyed the last time when I asked my partner to put something in the treasure chest. So I will have to ask him to do that more often. He's got lots of stuff and lots of cool stuff. I have an associate's and most of a bachelor's, then life happened. Yeah, I got my like certificate in electrical technology, so none of the college that I've taken is gonna go toward like an actual degree. But I don't know. I just want to like take an English class or a marketing class every once in a while, and just see what they're teaching, or like maybe take a Spanish class so that I can get more of like what you would learn in a classroom as opposed to just using Duolingo, which I've deleted Duolingo. Duo is so manipulative. Like they'll like change the icon on the home screen to like this, what it is right now, or at least yesterday when I deleted it, was like this crying face. And I'm like, I literally wanted to use your app, but I will not be guilted into using your fucking app. Like, are you serious? So yeah, I got annoyed. And then I'm like angry at Duolingo for having this shitty manipulative way of getting you to use their product. And then also I'm like annoyed with my partner and my younger sibling for like not getting on the Spanish train with me. So I don't have anybody to talk to. No one to practice with. Sad. Can't anyone boy mode if they want? Sure. Well, I was kind of joking about like when trans girls get far enough into their transition that then they have a day where they just don't do anything to their hair and they don't wear makeup and they wear baggy clothes and they go outside and they call it boy moding, but they just look like a woman in baggy clothes. So I was making a joke about like trans women, they say they're boy moding, but then actually what they're doing is called male failing, when they're trying to pass as male still, even though they're in transition, and then people just do not perceive them as male because they are female. They're on hormones and stuff. So that's the joke that I was making. It took me 10 years of false starts before I finally got my degree, and it turns out I had ADHD. Yeah, at least if you go into college knowing that you have ADHD, you can request accommodations and manage your symptoms knowing what you're dealing with. Ah, humor. I know humor. Ha ha ha. Indeed. Yes. It's one of those super inside trans jokes too. Like I know sometimes I make references and allusions that would not make sense to a non-trans audience. I'm not trying to alienate you. I just also forget to code switch sometimes. I've accidentally signed up for Super Duo a few times because they advertise it like a motherfucker. Oh my god, yes. You're right, Nuvenal. Yeah, Lord Byron might blow up and then act like he don't know anybody, just like Decoy Duck. Yeah, Decoy Duck, he got the PhD and then he left us behind. To be an electrician? Yeah, so I did go to school to be an electrician, and then I worked as a solar panel installer and an electrician at 2 different companies, and it turns out that I physically cannot do that kind of work. It's too difficult for my body to handle. I have dysautonomia, and I cannot go army crawling through attics it's too fucking hot, and it makes my heart rate skyrocket, and yeah, it's too hard. I can't do it. Respect. And like I know a lot about it, so if I ever needed to personally like, oh, I need to replace this power outlet, I am not hiring anybody to replace a power outlet, girl. Are you kidding me? Or like if I need to replace a ceiling fan, I might have my husband like help me because he can like hold up the ceiling fan, but yeah. I get here and hear my name without being there. Well, I just was in the Discord a second ago and I saw that you defended your thesis and got your Dr. Lord Byron title, so I was like, shout out Lord Byron even though he's not here. I was like, I assume that you're with your wife celebrating.
Shakes_bear has donated $5. I appreciate the community. Appreciate that you go out of the way to make marginalized voices in your community heard. Thanks for the good times.
Hell yeah. Appreciate the $5 dono. Thank you. Like, obviously, don't feel obligated if y'all are in tough situations, but thank you very much. I appreciate this community too. I feel like we're just like cool people flocking together for a chill hangout time. And a little reprieve from the horrors of the world, or combing over the horrors of the world. Switches back and forth. What's up with that man voice? Oh, I don't know. It's text to speech. I just picked a voice. Do you guys not like it? You don't like the robot voice? Heading home before we go out for dinner tonight. Yeah. Have fun celebrating. Yeah, we were talking about you. We summoned you. Did you end up trying out that HelloTalk app? No, I have not tried the HelloTalk app. My problem is, like, I don't think I can really talk to anybody because I have such a severely limited vocabulary. So the whole conversation would just be like a vocabulary lesson instead of being more like, oh, well, you can, oh, you know, this is more correct in this context. Like, I feel like speaking to a person who knows the language is something that is just, you need to be more advanced before that's really useful. What I am thinking about doing is going to YouTube and being like, Spanish language videos for babies and whatever, like whatever is the Bluey equivalent. I don't actually know what age range Bluey is for. I just wanted to make a fun reference and act like I know what's going on culturally, even though I am not a parent of a small child. But yes, whatever. The babies, the TV for babies, but just en español to get the basic, like, you know, very simple sentences, very basic vocabulary kind of stuff. Just through me being a trans woman. Oh no, I'm so sorry, babe. It's not, it just the same for everybody. Watch Bluey in other language dubs. I mean, I don't know. I don't just want to like a dub in, I want, like, hold on. Let me see if there exists this thing that I am thinking may exist. There's this, okay, here's, technically this is kind of close to what I want. Spanish for babies with Miss Amy. Spanish for babies. Bilingual babies. Spanish plus English. Like, maybe that is something. I've also thought about just going to Disney, or like anytime I want to watch a Disney Plus movie, like, oh, let's say I want to watch The Lion King, just go to Lion King and put it in Espanol, and like, yeah, just listen to a dub of it in Espanol with the subtitles on so that I can see what's being said. Wait, what? What about the champagne flute? What? YouTube has lots of language courses. Yeah, I like, that's great. And I love that. I mostly like literally just want to watch a video that's meant for Spanish speaking babies. Does that make sense? Immersion is best, but not always feasible. Yeah. I feel like if you have a very basic knowledge, then various levels of immersion, right? And like various degrees of immersion, right? You know, if I watch a video for babies in Spanish, then I feel like that is a level of immersion where even if you are basically at a toddler level, because I'm at a toddler level of communication, maybe not in my vocabulary, because of the vocabulary that I've been learning is more, you know, adult oriented. Like, why would a baby need to know cartera? Like, does a baby need to know what a purse is? Or I guess it could also mean wallet in some dialects of Spanish. It makes sense, but why? Are you asking me, like, it makes sense that I want to watch Spanish videos for babies, but why? Because it's immersion. Like, immersion is a great way to learn because it kind of takes away the context. So this is something my younger sibling was saying, that they're finding it hard to memorize vocabulary with Duolingo because they only use Spanish in the app. And so there's kind of a lack of context for it. Whereas if you're just like watching a movie, or like if you're in the country, or if you are speaking the language regularly, like that level of immersion actually helps you retain, learn, contextualize, all that stuff just better. So yeah, that's part of it. Like I don't want the thing in Duolingo to be telling me in English that here's the thing. I want the entire experience to be in Espanol. And if I need to pause it and look something up, then okay. And so I want to do that, but like with the easiest version of anything, is like the baby's version, and hopefully I'll know most of the vocab. Mosh, hello. This is not quite the end. We haven't even hit our 2-hour mark yet. But thank you. Are you wearing makeup? Yes, I am wearing makeup. I'm trying some new things. I have like hooded eyes and downturned eyes, so it's kind of hard. But yeah, I wanted to do a little purplish look today. Purple. And did I rub my eye over here? Did I mess up my makeup? Nope. That's just my skin. My skin is just dark there. Or did I accidentally blend this out farther than I meant to? Oh my gosh. No, I think that's just a shadow on my face. Interesting. Cool. Do you support Therians? I mean, I don't have a strong opinion about Therians. I feel like Therians are just non-binary people who are using language referring to animals to like make sense of their experience, and I don't have a problem with that. Love the blue, thank you. I don't have a medium tone purple, so the outside is purple and then the inside is like this blue, and I kind of meant for it to read as an overall purple look, but I don't know how it's working. I watch anime with subtitles, and occasionally I can hear the words I learned in Japanese classes. Yeah. I do prefer subtitled anime. So usually when I watch Attack on Titan, I will watch the subtitles. But then I can't do anything else. So I'm watching the dubbed version right now, and it does suck. I don't like it. Whatever. But yeah, if I'm watching it in Japanese, if I'm not paying super close attention, then I'll just be like, I'm just listening, and then they say Kyojin, and I'm like, oh, they're talking about Titans again. Like the one word that I can really easily pick out in Attack on Titan. Kyojin. I'm so sad as a glasses wearer that it often hides my eye makeup. I didn't notice till you took the glasses off. So I actually kind of like that it hides the makeup sometimes, because it can help cover up any mistakes that I made. Part of the problem is that I have this giant fucking photography light, and I don't know if there is anything you can do to a pair of glasses that will make them not do that level of glare. I don't have any glare from my monitors, and like I did get an anti-glare coating on these. But I don't know if there's ever anything you can do to like not have the reflection from the photography light. So every time I look up where you would be able to see my eyelids better, because again, I have hooded eyes, there's just a fucking glare in my face. So sorry about that. More blending of the purple into the blue. Maybe. It's a really dark purple, and I didn't want to darken the center of the eye, because that's how fucking makeup works, I guess, is like you have to very specifically put the lights and the darks in different places to get like certain things. I'm gonna just go to Ulta and see if they can advise me on getting a couple palettes that are like matching palettes. The post-makeup balaclava is a must. You mean when they put the green stuff on their faces? What are you talking about? Thank you, Eclipse. Does sugoi also mean pretty? You can just be sexy as hell, but also be blind as a bat. I mean, I don't mind it. I kind of like how subtly this makeup look kind of looks when my eyes are down. Oh, glasses cover up the mistakes. Yeah. The balaclava. Okay, I see. To be clear, I also have a small vocabulary of Japanese words. I also was a weeaboo and watched subtitled anime and did Duolingo Japanese and like tried to learn Japanese when I was younger. Like I have an amount of a vocabulary of Japanese. Glamour Claw, hello. Eclipse says, I think I'm also trans, but I genuinely cannot come out to anyone except my friends. Do you know how I can come out? So I actually did make a video that still gets decent views on my channel that's called How to Come Out or something like that. So basically, I have a video about coming out if you want more details. Because, I mean, off the fly, I will just say coming out to one person at a time is better. You can come out through email or by writing a letter so that you don't have to have their immediate reaction, because sometimes the immediate reaction is negative, but then they sit and think about it for a while and they're like more chill. Carefully weigh which relationships you're going to be willing to sacrifice. If there is any amount of you're financially dependent on your parents or something and you're not sure how they're going to react, then maybe don't tell them until you're in a better position. Or maybe test by saying like, oh, what do you think of these trans issues in general? Like talk about trans issues in general instead of about yourself to get a feel for how they're going to react. Even then, sometimes liberal democratic families will say, oh, you know, trans people deserve whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then when someone in their life actually comes out, they have a still negative reaction to it. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my overview. Do not do it at a holiday event. Don't do it in a situation where multiple people are going to be able to gang up on you with their reaction. Also, if you do it in a group setting, then people are going to look to each other and say, how are we going to react? And then whoever has the biggest reaction is going to kind of lead the rest of that meeting. So don't do it. Cliff, hello. I actually caught you live for once. A little late, but still. Yeah, a little late. Yeah, we've been going for about 2 hours. I was thinking of doing... I was gonna maybe go... We're gonna go at least until 5, if not till the full 6 o'clock. I thought a balaclava was a Russian ski mask. It is. That is what it is, I'm pretty sure. Who is talking to me? Is that important? Oh my god. I think I'm being invited to do a show tomorrow. You may not have the space for this, but you can cut down the glare on your glasses by lighting indirectly using a white card or a reflector. For example, my desk is against a bright white wall. I point the lights at the wall so the light reflects and spills over onto my face. That is a great idea. Love the energy. I will think about that the next time I rearrange my office, but something that may not be obvious right now because I have the green lights on is that the walls in here are actually like a disgusting beige, the green beige color. So nowhere in this house can I set up right next to a wall and have that not be like a disgusting green color. Also, the closer you are to a wall, the more you're going to get sound reflecting back into the microphone. So like that's actually the thing. You ever see like soundproofing in a room? soundproofing behind a creator doesn't actually do a lot. Obviously, you don't want to have like a completely bare wall because that's still going to create like a whole ambient room reflection. But the most pertinent reflection for the microphone is like my voice is projecting this direction and then it's hitting stuff over there that is then reflecting back on my microphone this direction. So if I were right next to a wall, especially if I was like, I'm going to leave this wall white and not put any of those like pads on it, then I would not be getting I would either have to sacrifice the benefit of the white light or the benefit of the soundproofing. So it's just so funny. I'm not trying to go like, I'm not trying to like naysay you or anything, Fuzzy Logic. I'm just like, the actual logistics are more complex than people think. And audio quality is the most important thing. That's like the little bit of anxiety I have about potentially switching to the Elgato mic, is that the sound quality on this microphone is undoubtedly better, but it also just is quiet all the time. And also the Go XLR is the most finicky piece of equipment I have. And also I kind of don't want it on my desk. It's a huge piece of equipment that I don't really need up here. I don't use most of its functionality. So yeah. Hello, John Gervo, now on the website. Welcome to the website. Sorry, the brief balaclava mention followed by speaking Japanese threw me off. Yeah, this chat is ADHD, and so am I. It does not have to be a wall. A pop-up white screen like a projector screen would work. Definitely a good point about the audio. My degree is in broadcast production. Okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I don't mean to... I'm not trying to explain to you anything. That's an interesting concept. Like, maybe, like, hanging... I don't know. I'll think about it. I don't really want something hanging over there. But yeah, it is like that trick of what are you going to do? I guess I wouldn't mind if I had a Ring camera around here, because I think the Ring camera thing is kind of cute. But just the way that I have my mic set up, or sorry, the way that I have my camera set up, it doesn't have a good location for a... Like, a ring light would be around it, and it would be, like, covering my computer monitor underneath here. You can also look into a Scarlett Solo interface. They're only like $100-ish, and you can adjust the input gain. Yeah, well, I already have a new microphone. I don't need to buy new equipment. I appreciate the idea. I also, like, maybe could Google it and, like, maybe troubleshoot more and find out, like, if there's something specific with the Go XLR. But I'm also just kind of ready to switch to a different microphone. Uh-oh, we have friends in the chat. Friends making friends in the chat. That's fun. I need to take a little break to rest my voice. That's apparently what you're supposed to do. After 2 hours, you should rest your voice. Bigger glasses and wear them at such an angle, but that's a lot. Oh, I mean, I don't know. Glasses are also designed to be a certain distance from your eyes, so if you put them down, like, it changes how they affect your eyeballs. So, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just gonna pull up a little bit of music for you guys, and then I'm gonna take my little midstream break. Whoa. Why you do this? Everything is okay? Everything is okay. Okay. The mic may not be the problem, though, just a consideration. Sure. It's easy for me to blame this microphone because it was a skittish horse and very difficult to get set up in the first place. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna put on some music. I'll be back in a few minutes. We're back. Excuse. Now I'm back. I have new water. I rested my voice for a couple minutes, so we are ready to keep going, at least until 5. It's 4 now, so at least until 5. We'll see. Man. It has been a lot lately. Oh no! Oh, y'all are... Okay, so everybody's talking about smoking, because somebody said something about cigarettes, so everybody's talking about smoking now. That's what happened when I was gone, but Mosh says, sorry to butt in a bit. I'm supposed to be recording vocals tomorrow, and I've smoked like 5 times today. Please send help. It's like out of control now. No! I know it's hard when, like, smoking does give you some relief from your anxiety or whatever else is going on to, like, go through these periods of time of, like, increased stress. So you're, like, smoking a bunch, and then that's worse for your voice, and it's worse for your overall health, but, like, it's basically like, the way that this was described to me at one point that I have carried forward is like high risk, high reward, or low risk, low reward forms of coping mechanisms. So like getting drunk is a high risk, high reward form of coping because, you know, it's really effective at reducing anxiety. It's really effective at loosening you up. You know, it's really effective at helping you sleep and everything. But it also carries a lot of risks. Like you might make choices that you don't remember, or you might like fall and hurt yourself, or the time, like the effects over time that drinking has on your body. Basically, it's poison, and no amount of drinking alcohol is good for you. But you live, you know, also like breathing oxygen is not good for you, you know, in a way, in that sense that it has an impact over time. But whatever. My point is, oh, wait, did that pop through? Oh, wait, hold on. Has that not popped up on the donation thing?
Silent Partner has donated $40. Cheers from Australia, victory hand emoji.
Thank you. Maybe those both like came in at the same time and they weirdly like canceled each other out. The Fuzzy Logic donated $10. Thank you, saying it's been fun. See you tomorrow on the line. See you tomorrow on the line. Thank you, thank you. And then Silent, who apparently is in Australia. I did not know that she was in Australia. But Silent Partner. Oh, Silent Partner is not Silent. My bad. Silent, $40 from Australia. Thank you so much. That is $50 combined donations. Y'all are very sweet. Thank you for thinking of me while you're on vacation. Which, that brings us up to $90. We are only $10 away from opening the treasure chest today. I'm not going to hype it up too much. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but I'm looking forward to showing it off. The alcohol risk/reward depends on the drinker. I once played a show with a bunch of drunks, and several times I was the only one playing the correct song. Drinking just makes you immune to criticism. Sure, but like, yeah, I'm just saying that like, it obviously helps people cope with their own internal something. Like, broadly speaking, people drink it for that reason. It makes them more comfortable, then it makes them able to flirt better or whatever the issue is. So it's a high risk, high reward. Whereas, by comparison, doing things that are like low risk, low reward, but like maybe have a more cumulative effect over time. Like if you're super duper anxious, doing a breathing exercise is like low risk, but also potentially less effective at reducing your anxiety than just taking a shot could be. And like, obviously one is like relatively easier than the other, you know? So yeah, I just think that it's one of those ways to sort of destigmatize certain forms of coping mechanisms and to start viewing coping mechanisms more in terms of their actual risk-reward analysis, as opposed to drinking alcohol to assuage your social anxiety is bad and it makes you an alcoholic, versus like, yeah, taking a drink to loosen up once in a while is not a big deal, so long as you're not drinking every day or not every single time you need to socialize or whatever. There have been times in the past where people have gotten the impression like I am abusing alcohol because I don't want to hang out in a voice chat except like a couple times when I've had a couple beers, I'm like, oh, I'm in the mood to go be social in this space. And like, yeah, somebody tried to smear me and say that I was an alcoholic because like 2 or 3 times in the course of like, I don't know, I want to say like 9 months. It was while I lived alone. Like my partner and I separated for a brief period. We were still like in a relationship. We weren't like, our relationship wasn't separated. We were just physically separated. Um, anyway, so I was like alone and I was like trying to get back into being more social, but like also working on myself a lot, like just spending a lot of time and resources working on myself. So like, yeah, a couple times over the course of that year, I drank, and then I would be like, oh sure, you know, I see my friend Gayfesh is is in the chat, so I'll go hang out. I also never dropped in. Later, Drea, good night. I also never dropped into that chat when Gayfesh wasn't there. This is what actually informed harm reduction looks like, though. Yeah, yeah. I mean, things are not good or bad. They just have different consequences. What do you think about Discord social spaces in general? I don't know that I spend enough time on Discord social spaces to have like a very strong opinion about them. I do know that, you know, in some ways it is a space where like the amount of control that an administrator can have can create like weird power dynamics. I have seen that play out where there's effectively a cult running on a Discord server. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's like good to have social spaces, especially ones that are like, oh, you can hang out in a group of people, whatever. But I also have a curated like creator space. And so my perspective on Discord spaces is like changed by the fact that I am primarily like a person who has a Discord server as opposed to somebody who just like uses Discord. I don't know. That's dumb that someone would just assume that without even knowing you outside of Discord/YouTube. Well, I mean, I guess I'm obliquely referring to it. It was Poppy. If you guys remember that whole drama with Poppy and like her being a therapist and a creator and like using that position of power to curate an audience, and like the toxic relationship that she had with her partner Z, and the like the dynamic that they created. So when I was criticizing her or discrediting her or whatever, I don't know what the correct terminology is. When I was, you know, critical of her behavior, she tried to retaliate and say that I was not a worthy voice to listen to on the basis that I had drank a couple times. And like that was the only time I was ever social on her Discord server, was when Gayfesh was there and I had had like 3 beers. You know, so she was deliberately being a piece of shit. Just like trying to discredit me to make my criticisms of her invalid, effectively. Also, you would not believe the things I have heard that people believe about me, having never met me once, and I am hardly online. Yeah. Is all the music Jazz Dog music? I wonder if Jazz Dog would do cool custom channel songs for here, like on Riverboat Jack. But I do know that Riverboat Jack is one of their favorite channels, though, so maybe not. So Jazz Dog, I can hire Jazz Dog. They do take, he does take commissions. I just don't have a lot of extra money. But that is something that I would like to do when I have a little bit of extra money, is I have like a bunch of things that I need that I'm putting off, and then I like buy a bunch of those things, and then I'm broke, and then I like still have a bunch of things that I need. Like I'm trying to replace a lot of my clothes because I've gained weight, and I need stuff for my kitchen and all that stuff, like just lots of little things. And so because I've started making, I'm doing this producer thing for the line. So as of next month, I'm going to be making more money, and that will be good. And I would like to pay Jazz Dog to make some music for me. There's no way it's a sticker. Nuvenal. I did think about doing a sticker. I was thinking of you when I was choosing what to go in the box.
Jom_Gervo has donated $5. For being cool, funny, and having interesting thoughts in general. Happy to be here and support, even if just a little bit.
Thank you, Jom Gervo, for the $5 dono. I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us. I try my best to be cool and interesting, so thank you. That brings us up to $95. We are only $5 away from finding out what is in the treasure chest. So close. And then honestly, I might not stay on stream for very long after that. I am like way more tired than I thought I was gonna be. I'm like standing. I don't want to sit. It's not my preferred thing to do during stream. I watched her video about all that. With her, at least, not that specific incident. Yeah, I think that her accusing me of being an alcoholic happened after I posted my video. Because, yeah, that was her reaction to me posting a video about her, was to just, like, come after me. And, like, okay, so as a therapist, as a licensed therapist, I feel like you should know better than to, like, shame people who struggle with an addiction. So even if I were an alcoholic and I was showing up to her Discord conversations like slurring my words and super drunk, that would be cause for concern. That would be like if she thought that I was an alcoholic during that time and she didn't reach out to check and see if I was okay. You thought that I was like dysfunctionally alcoholic and you just didn't say anything. You're a therapist. You were ostensibly my friend. You didn't say anything. But no, it was after. So it was silly. You should definitely not criticize people who are struggling with an addiction. And also you should know that if somebody is struggling with an addiction, that does not necessarily discredit their ideas or their criticisms. Like, it doesn't mean that none of their thoughts are valid. None of their thoughts or opinions are valid. Like, yeah, it was crazy. Most leftist Xena behavior. Was that Xena? I thought it was Poppy who was accusing me of being an alcoholic, but I don't know. They kind of feed into the worst parts of each other, so maybe they were both doing it. Oh. Jazz Dog is cool. They said they liked my band one time. Nice. Yeah. I like Jazz Dog. At least what little I know of them and their music is good. Good, 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 good. Hell yeah. I do like, so one of the things, so I do this producer thing for the line, which means like I use my second computer, which is over here, to like basically make the entire live stream happen. Kind of like how I here have like my Streamlabs is open and my chats are open and like my moderation stuff is all here. That's basically what I do for the line. Just like I'm not on screen and I'm just making sure that everything's working correctly, and I'm changing the lower third and I'm making sure everybody's audio is coming through correctly. Yeah, so I decided like last night, I have been usually doing that job sitting down, but I was like, I don't want to do this sitting down. It's been hurting my back. So I stood up. And the thing about it is I'm not on camera and I don't need to be right here near the microphone for any reason. Like, I was using this microphone that's on the desk and just kind of leaning in if I ever needed to say anything, but I don't need to say anything for the most part. So I was just like, ooh, yeah, let's stretch. And I'm going to reach down and touch my toes, and I'm going to like crouch down and, you know, get some, and I like kept dancing. I kept like, and like bending my knees. And even at one point I was like jumping and bouncing, because jumping is really good for your bones. So that was something that I like about standing for work but not being on camera, is being able to fidget around in a way that's like almost like physical activity, basically, you know, like especially if I'm like dancing and doing stuff like that, just to keep my blood flowing and keep myself interested. It is a little boring sometimes. If they're on a long call and there hasn't been anything that's happened in a while, like the things that I have to pay attention to when I'm producing are things like, okay, a new super chat came in. I need to put that on the list thing to be able to pop the super chats up at the screen at the end. And a new caller called. I have to change the name on the bottom of the screen. But while the stream is going, if neither of those things have happened in a while, I'm basically just sitting there. And I'll do little stuff like, I'll put a poll in the chat, or I'll respond to people in the chat. I mostly don't moderate the chat while I'm producing. I'm like, we have mods that do that. I am not trying to moderate the chat. I have so many other things going on. But yeah, it was good multitasking. I'll say you're looking much happier and healthy since you moved to Oregon. Thank you. I do feel like things are finally coming together. I'm not gonna lie and say life is perfect, and I'm not like scared sometimes, but often I feel like I recover pretty quickly. Like, okay, we get bad news, like, oh, they're gonna say all trans people are terrorists, and then I get freaked out, but it only lasts for like a day or two, and then I feel better. And like, I'm just feeling more confident in general, and like I'm feeling pretty healthy, even though I've had some pretty serious health struggles this year. Like recovering from moving and recovering from having COVID in October was really hard. And now I'm finally getting better, and I have so many things that I'm looking forward to and I'm excited about. And like my overall disposition is just much healthier, which I think is the result of moving out here, yeah, but it's also the result of hard work and doing lots of therapy stuff and like using my therapy skills and you know, sometimes there's a little bit of compartmentalization. I do feel like I probably don't process my emotions enough, and I'm trying to do better about that. Are there any updates on that? Wait, babe, are there updates on which part? I'm sorry. I don't know what you meant specifically. I just started that volunteer position this week. Hey, that's so great. I'm glad that you are going to be able to volunteer and be around other trans people. It's going to be good. Love the eyeshadow today. Thank you. I'm trying new things. I did my eyes it's like, okay, I gotta do this. There we go. The eyes. The terrorist thing. I haven't seen any new movement. Joe Neal, shout out, thank you. The terrorist thing with trans people. I haven't seen any movement on that this week. Let's see if there's anything from Aaron. I don't think there's been any movement on it. To be clear, still, it was like a leaked something or other from the Heritage Foundation that we were talking about and covering before. And then, of course, there was the designation of Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, which obviously many trans people express sentiments that could be considered part of Antifa. I don't know. I don't really know. I probably should read that executive order to figure out how they are literally defining Antifa. Like, are they defining Antifa in a way? I don't know. I haven't checked what that actually means. Do you have to have a flag? Do you have to have, like, you know, what kind of language or imagery is associated with that? I'm not sure. But so I haven't seen anything new about the transgender ideology-inspired violent extremism bullshit. We will see how that goes. Joe Neal is not a trans ally. He's been banned from the line, Riverboat Jack, and Dead Domain for being a creep. Well, I mean, that's a pretty simple name. Are we sure that that's the same user? Like, are we sure? I can't actually, like, click. Oh, I guess I can go to channel. But there's nothing about him. Like, I can see Joe Neal 5485 is the username, but I don't know. I just wouldn't jump to conclusions. But if he's a troll, then that's okay too. That happens sometimes. Antifa isn't an organization, so IDK, how the hell they define that? Yeah, same PFP. Oh, okay. As a straight white male army vet, we're not buying the trans terrorism dog whistle. Well, that's good. To me, the profile picture just looks like the letter J, which is like the default for somebody whose name who starts with a J. Side note, there has been justice for Liara Tsai. Their murderer has been found guilty on all counts. I hope healing can begin for those of us who loved her. That is good news. In the middle of a bunch of bad news and like in the middle of a sad story, I guess at least the killer was brought to justice, and that is a good thing. And it is so hard to feel very positive about that, but you know, it's more than most of us get, I think. I think most of us trans people who get murdered, like, they don't normally get justice, so I guess that's the one good thing about it happening in Minnesota. I think stuff like the definition of Antifa is designed to be broad and vague so that it can apply to as many people as they feel like. Oh, that's true. That's totally true. Thank you, Nova. Just popping in to say your makeup is cute. Thank you. I am having fun learning, and I still don't really feel like I have a handle on it, but I feel like I know more than nothing, and it's starting to work. It looks pretty okay. So thank you for that. Appreciate you. Thanks everybody who's hit the like button today, by the way. We are at 91 likes. I totally wasn't even noticing when we got to 69. I just wasn't paying attention. So can we get to 100? Perhaps. It's quick, it's easy, it's free. Also, $5 more in donations, especially directly through the website, luxander.net/donate. $5 more, and I will open the treasure chest. What's in there? Ah. We don't know what's over there. We'll find out. Well, I know what's over there. Next time, maybe I'll ask my partner if he can put anything in the box. What am I doing? I was looking for something specific. What was I looking for? I was about to Google something. Antifa. Yes, the Antifa. Designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. Okay, yeah. I want this at least open so that I can come back to it and read. Lux, your pronouns. I usually use it/they. It does say it down here. It's, I guess, maybe a little bit hard to read because it's so small, but for a while I was using exclusively its pronouns, and now I use it/they. I managed to buy some makeup recently. I've yet to try it because I just don't like the feel of makeup on my face and how it can mess up my skin. Oh, I don't have any makeup on my skin. I only do the eyelashes and like the eyelids area. I don't want foundation on my face. That's not for me. That is not a sensation that I want. I am hoping to see justice for the violent discrimination I endured. My new lawyer is the legal director of the legal advocacy firm representing me, so I guess something is happening. Okay, cool. That's great. I love that. Glad that you're making progress on that too. Jesus. Antifa as a terrorist threat. Okay, Antifa is a militarist anarchist enterprise that explicitly calls for the overthrow of the United States government, law enforcement authorities, and our system of law. It uses illegal means to organize and execute a campaign of violence and terrorism nationwide to accomplish these goals. This campaign involves coordinated efforts to obstruct enforcement of federal laws through armed standoffs with law enforcement, organized riots, violent assaults on immigration and customs enforcement and other law enforcement officers, and routine doxing of and other threats against political figures and activists. Antifa recruits, trains, and radicalizes young Americans to engage in this violence and suppression of political activity, then employs elaborate means and mechanisms to shield the identities of its operatives, conceal its funding sources and operations in an effort to frustrate law enforcement and recruit additional members. It's also really interesting, like, they're like, oh, how dare these young people try to hide their identities from the government, and also, like, at the same time, like, trying to dox our like trying to dox our people. And it's like, shouldn't there be? Oh, I guess they didn't say. I thought that the issue was like doxing of ICE agents. I got a little mixed up there because I know that they have complained about that, and it's like y'all shouldn't be, um, like secret police. You know, there should be accountability. We should be able to see your faces. I was about to say, I wonder if like the governance of California could all be declared Antifa because they are trying to. They actually just successfully, I think, passed a law this week, requiring federal agents to not wear a mask, basically. Anarchism Inc. True. Literally gagged. There's no foundation. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell. I have like a big old zit on my chin right here. I'm just improving my skincare and like doing retinol and stuff to make sure my skin is nice and evenly toned. And then that's my basically like my way of getting away from using foundation is just I'm gonna try to improve my quality of my skin. This administration is lying. What? Yeah, that would be a wild accusation. Individuals associated with and acting on behalf of Antifa further coordinate with other organizations and entities for the purpose of spreading, fomenting, and advancing political violence and suppressing lawful political speech. This organized effort designed to achieve policy objectives by coercion and intimidation is domestic terrorism. Okay, so, like, I guess basically any of those behaviors will cause you to be declared Antifa, even though, like, okay, yeah, designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, but, like, again, like, it isn't an organization, and they don't even declare any, like, they wear the same symbol and they meet at these times or anything. It's literally just like a bunch of loosely connected behaviors that anyone would be doing during times of civil unrest. So anyway, that's cool. Yeah, it's pretty silly. But I mean, so what I'm just interested in is like, yeah, how quickly. I mean, so Kat Abugazale, so she was at that ICE protest, and there's video of her being like thrown to the ground, and it clearly would have been very painful. She was not thrown to ground in a way that would like break a bone, probably for a young woman like her, but definitely a large bruise all over her body. And she has pointed out repeatedly, like, that's what they were willing to do on camera in front of everybody. That is nothing compared to what is being done behind closed doors to these immigrants. So, but if she is at a protest that could be construed as a violent assault on immigration and customs enforcement, then does that mean... I mean, this is basically their way of starting to label their political opponents as terrorists. Basically, right? So resisting policy is terrorism. Let me just double check the word policy. So where the word policy is here, basically terrorism is defined as an organized effort designed to achieve policy objectives by coercion and intimidation. Basically, like, terrorism generally means like using fear tactics and violence to cause an emotional state of fear that causes change, like, which literally is like what right-wingers do. You know, if there's a threat of bomb threats to Target because they have Pride merchandise, that's domestic terrorism, because you're trying to achieve like some kind of policy objective. Or I mean, I guess in that case it's not a policy objective, but like you're trying to control society through fear by threatening violence unless people do what you want them to do. That's supposed to be like the difference between peaceful protest and terrorism, is like peaceful protest is just about like having your voice be heard and maybe disrupting commerce for a short period of time, where like using violence is considered like a form of terrorism, even when a long amount of time and pressure and lack of change through peaceful means has put pressure on people to act in ways they wouldn't normally. That is still basically, I mean, terrorism is whatever people in charge decide is terrorism. That's kind of what it comes down to, of course.
Lord Viren has donated $5. Next thesis topic, what's in the box?
True. Thank you, Viren, for the $5 dono, bringing us up to $100. I hope you have fun tonight celebrating with your wife, and congratulations on successfully becoming Dr. Lord Viren. Isn't that so spiffy? Okay, here we go. I got my chats back. I can see. All right. Let's see what's in the treasure chest. Ooh. If we give it a little shake, what do we get today? There's something in there. Okay. ICE should at least have badge numbers on the uniforms. Their photos and private info like addresses can be withheld until they do things that require just prosecution. True. Okay. Treasure chest. Calibrate your expectations. Oh, it's a pile of orange and brown? What? What could that be? Hold on. Let me put this down so that I don't hurt myself. Okay, so this is a giant leaf garland that I made. Oh my god, it's all tangled up. This is out right now because I need my partner's help putting it up on the wall. Wow, I wonder if I'm ever going to be able to disentangle this thing. So anyway, I crocheted a bunch of leaves, and then I made this into a leaf garland. So there's here's the maple leaves, and the more simple little leaves, and then I've got some oak leaves. Yeah, here's the oak leaf. And this is big string, and it is gonna hang up probably in my living room or something. That's where it was before. But in the meantime, I'm gonna wrap it all around myself. Yeah. Since you've been gone. True. Thank you for helping us open it. I'm untangling this so that I can wear it. I'm trying to not hurt anything. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. I remember these? Yeah, I wasn't sure if I had shown you guys the entire finished product or not. Leaf. We call it leaf. We call it fall because leaf fall down. Leaf. Leaf. I got a red maple leaf too. So pretty. Get my hair out of there. There we go. Leaf. 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 Yeah. I'm glad I haven't seen ICE in my city. I know they're around, but I haven't seen them for myself. Yeah, me too. I don't think I've personally seen ICE. I mean, except for the fact that they're running around in unmarked vehicles, so who knows? Good deco for fall. Yeah, I really do think that you should have seasonal decor in your home. I think it literally makes your life better to just every month or so, every 2 months or so, with the pagan tradition, the holidays are about 6 weeks from each other. There's 8 every year, so they're about 6 weeks apart from each other. 6 to 8 weeks, I guess. So we just did the equinox. That's the fall harvest, the celebration of the fall harvest. And next is going to be Halloween. And then after that is Yule. And so it's every other month or so, there's a celebration, and there's different symbols associated with it. So you can switch out your decor. Basically, most of you, because you're English speaking, for the most part here, are you're gonna have like some kind of Thanksgiving at some point in the year. You're gonna have like some kind of Christmas or winter holiday. You might culturally have like Easter. You know, if you're American, you might have the 4th of July, but like also like I personally am not like a big fan of the 4th of July, except when it is like an excuse to have a party, but I don't really do parties, so I don't really care. And I'm definitely not going to decorate my house in red, white, and blue. So definitely early in the year, whatever excuse you need to make to decorate your house, like maybe go like, ooh, it's about to be spring, and just go ham on like spring oriented decorations. You know what I'm saying? I just really think you should go for it. Autumnal Shibari, true. Yo, Kitty Tick, hello. Baby nap coincided with the baby napping, and I have the weird week of not sleeping well. Oh, no worries. Yeah, it's okay. I hope that you and baby are doing good. I want to learn to make stuff like that eventually. Yeah, crochet can be tough for some people to grasp, but once you've got it, it's really good, very enjoyable. Equinox, short for equality for all oxen. No arguments here. Oh my god, we're at 99 likes. So close. The more times we hit the like button, the more likely it is that this stream and the just chilling streams will increase in viewership. Let's continue to increase the viewership on the just chilling streams. As a neo-pagan, I wholeheartedly agree with seasonal home decor. Truly, yes. And like, I've started to get out some of the Halloween-oriented things prior to Mabon. Like, prior to the equinox, I decided, you know, pumpkins. Like, I've started seeing pumpkins at the farmer's market. So far, well, you know, pumpkins are a thing starting in September. Let's get started with it. And then, of course, I've got the leaves, which need to go up. They should have gone up already, but I just haven't asked for help putting them up. Yeah, so now that we're past the equinox, I guess I might wait until October. I don't know, it's a week away. I could start now with the spooky decor. I could do spooky. Spooky, spooky, spooky. I can't believe this is what they would call terrorism. Yeah. If I were to state that making laws that make trans people's lives measurably worse is an existential threat to their existence because it causes people to self-harm and suicide themselves, that's trans activist terrorism. Or at least it could be. My altar is so dusty, I should really go over it with a feather or two. Yeah. I've moved my altar around several times since I moved in here. I'm trying to get everything perfect because we're gonna probably end up living here for like 5 or 6 years. Like, until we can afford a down payment on a house. Like, so for however long that takes. Unless something goes weird and this place gets too expensive, or if it's no longer convenient, or if something... Wonderful eye makeup look today. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm learning. Which is spoopy in the bad way. Spoopy in... so I personally think true crime is spoopy in a bad way. I was doing the production stuff for Chewed Gum yesterday, and Taylor said something about... Oh yeah, they were talking about like domestic violence, and so Andrew was trying to make the argument that that yes, women are killed by their domestic partners, but that it's their boyfriends and their side pieces who are doing the murdering, and not the husbands. The husbands don't do the murdering. But so Taylor said something and like described some kind of violence that a man would do to a woman, and I was like, we can tell by this that Taylor is a true crime girly. We can tell that she's out here watching true crime or listening to it. Show us your altar? Oh, I can't. Not on here, at least. I guess I could take a picture and post it on Patreon or something, but, It's not in a location where I could show it to you on stream. Shakespeare says, I am frightened of this terrorism thing as I am part of a group of local grassroots organizers. I'm a leader in the largest trans femme support network in Minnesota. We organize trans prom and gender affirming clothing drives, and we could be called terrorists. We successfully lobbied to get the trans/gay panic defense prohibited in our state. Yeah, I know. And like, yeah, being part of the line, something that has made me feel a lot better. Hey, we got to 100 likes. Thank you, babes. Appreciate it. There's still time to do a donation if you want to throw me $5. Even though we already opened the chest and found out that this was what it was in it. Anyway, one thing that has made me feel a little bit better is that even my cisgender coworkers on the line have expressed maybe not concerns. Well, yeah, yes, concerns, sure, about the fact that they are losing rights, you know? We always knew this was going to happen, right? But, you know, the idea that obviously this definition that we were reading the other day of trans activism being terrorism, it's not just trans people doing it. That, like, it says any person who says these things that, like, if you say that trans people are being eradicated by these laws, then that is terrorism. Then, like, yeah, cis people who say that are also going to be looped in with that. Maybe it's going to be enforced unfairly. Most likely it will be enforced unequally. But so to have like Matt Dillahunty and Jimmy Snow talk about like their rights going away and being curtailed, I guess it feels better. Like it feels like there's a camaraderie that like, I guess maybe there's like more of us together now. Whereas before it's like, okay, women and females have been losing their rights. Like I fucking sobbed the morning I woke up to the Dobbs decision. I like lost a critical right that day. It was not fun. And all these things, like it's mostly trans people. It's like autistic people also get to be scared for those specific things that they're going to come after. But yeah, so seeing, you know, now that even the white men are losing their rights, then it just means the coalition is bigger. And that there's more targets, so it makes it less likely that I will personally be targeted or that someone I care about will personally be targeted. Obviously, it's not good for other groups to be targeted, but it just does, I guess, take some of the heat off. If they're like going after political dissidents in general, then I am a pretty mild. If you could label me a political dissident, I think that I would be considered a pretty mild one. So I feel like I would not be very high on the list personally of individuals for them to come after, which just takes a little bit of the pressure off and makes me feel less like, you know, I need to figure out a way to like board up my house or something. Yeah, fucking wouldn't it be great to be in Alaska where you're like decentralized and it's much harder to exert control over you? That's part of why I felt like the West Coast would be a safer option, is because I just feel like it's harder to exert control all the way across the country, if that makes any sense. Who's talking to me? Oh, it's Arden. Okay. Welcome back, Quantum Chaos. Oh my gosh, I did not eat enough before stream. Oh, that's why I'm tired. That's why I'm tired, is because I didn't really eat breakfast. Thank you, Jom, for the compliment on my makeup. Appreciate it. It's just, I need to know where to put the stuff. I can't follow normal makeup tutorials. I have to do special shit, so that's why it's been so hard. Graham Cracker says, I learned about the concept of terrorism from 9/11, much like a lot of millennials. Putting that devastating act in the same category as hanging a trans pride flag is a fucking joke. True. Yeah, like the things that they lump together are wild. And that happens like all over the place in Republican ideology. I've seen people in my comments like, so oh my God, broadly speaking, the response to this Jimmy Kimmel situation and the Colbert situation, they're always like, okay, sure, well maybe this is bad, but what about all the times that or no, we'll be talking about like right-wing violence or something. And they're like, but what about all the times that Democrats, um, you know, canceled people and called for an uprising? And I'm like, dude, do you genuinely think that those two things belong in the same sentence? That's like doing a lot of heavy lifting. Like, sure, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? That like, how many times have these Democrats canceled somebody or called for an uprising? It's like those two things are not similar to one another. And like the idea that you think that right-wing political violence is at all comparable to left-wing or even just Democrats like calling people out and saying we don't like this fucking movie or we don't like this actor or whatever, and maybe hurting some of their money, but then they just fucking start a political like a right-wing political podcast and they're fine and nobody has ever been canceled except left-wing people. What a time for my egg to crack. Truly. Whataboutism and Tuquoque? If the right didn't have those, they'd have nothing to defend themselves. God, that's so true. I'm completely over pointing out right-wing hypocrisy. They are so bad faith, it is just such a waste of my time. Now I just call them names and ignore them. Oh, man, that's a good point. Sometimes I'm really like, did you people never have to do your own research on anything in school ever? Like, I posted this video, you know, shit, the worst trans news so far, talking about Aaron Reed's article. And like, you can see, like, you can see the headline. I shout out the name of the blog. I say it's Aaron in the Morning. You can Google the title. You can pause it and Google the title and find exactly the same web page. And yet there are still people in the comments like, can I have a link? Like, no, you can't actually. Fucking figure out how to use Google. Genuinely, like, I know if I'm doing a bunch of articles, then I will cite them and I'll put them in the description. I sometimes forget because it's just it's so deep in the process of making a video that sometimes I just forget to do shit like that. But yeah, also I'm like maybe ideologically opposed if I have one single article that I'm talking about in the video. Like, I think I kind of expect you to be smart enough to fucking find it. Does anyone know Dr. Amethysta's channel? No, I haven't heard of that one before. Good night, Nova. Thanks for popping in. Kay says, debating and talking with a right-wing person is like trying to teach a person 5 years worth of education in just the short time you are trying to talk to them. It can be challenging. That's part of why we take repeat callers at the line. We feel like, you know, if we can work with them over time, we can chip away at it and, you know, they can sleep on it and they can listen to the call over again and maybe Google some things related to what we discussed. But it's hard if you're just trying to do a one-off conversation. You're maybe not going to fully deconvert someone or cause them to deconstruct whatever belief it is over the course of one conversation, but you can probably plant a lot of seeds. And you may never see those seeds sprout. You may never see them grow. But the point is to keep sowing. So that's why I do what I do. I talk to people who disagree with me. I talk to right-wingers. I talk to transphobes. We talk to religious people. We talk to MAGA people. I'm going to be on Calling It Now tomorrow. So basically, I'm going to do Takis and then Calling It Now. So we take lots of those kind of calls. And yeah, even if I don't personally change that one individual's mind, maybe I planted a seed. They will maybe take an idea and go research it later, or maybe someone in the audience is going to hear something I say and it's going to be useful to them. So that's why I continue doing it, even though it is very frustrating and sometimes it does feel like bashing your head against a wall. And sometimes I do give up. Like, last night at some point when Andrew was on, I was going to tell them, like, okay, well, the problem is that the stream kept performing well while Andrew was on, even though I was getting to a point, and the hosts were clearly getting to a point where they were really frustrated with them. So I was going to suggest, like, hey, if you guys are getting too annoyed with him, we can probably move on. But the stream kept performing well while he was on, and so I was like, for business reasons, let's continue talking to this asshole. You know, I don't know. It was just funny. The problem with debates is that most of the time no one on the right is coming at it with any intent beyond gotchas and platforming their bullshit, which is no help. Well, I don't know. I don't feel like it's fair for me to make that criticism because me too. I'm not debating with right-wingers thinking, they might give me something interesting to think about and I'll change my mind. Like, there is a possibility that something could change my mind that a right-winger says, but I'm not entering into that space thinking that's what's going to happen. So I can't criticize them for that. Like, I can't criticize them for just using the debate as a platform for spreading their ideas. That's what I'm doing. Bon T. Was there some news that happened that I didn't hear about? Texas ICE shooter? Oh, wait. Did something happen today? Did someone shoot at ICE today? Did that finally happen? Because I've been waiting for it to happen. Hi, Jaina. How are you holding up with all the anti-trans hate we're getting for stuff unrelated to us? I was just saying earlier, I feel like I'm doing okay. I sometimes I'll take it really hard for a day or two, but then I kind of relax and I start feeling more confident and better again. And that's partially because I have constructed my life in a way where, like, I have control over things, I can regulate my body, I can do the things that I need to do to take care of myself. So, and I'm also trying to get off social media more. I'm staying minimally informed. So I need to know a little bit of what's going on, but I'm not trying to check it every single day and not constantly all day. So yeah, I definitely didn't have a good time on, like, Friday. I was, like, in my bed crying on Friday trying to figure out what to do. But I feel a lot better now. Someone shot at the ICE detainees, not the officers. But they are still treating it like leftists shot at ICE. So yeah, worst of both worlds. Cool, love that. From what I gather, no ICE officers were hit. It was detainees, but the media is framing it in a way that implies it was a political attack against ICE. Post-truth universe is fun. Yeah, I was just thinking along those lines, like, okay, cool. So, like, every single one, like, any shooting that happens now, literally any high-profile shooting, and we have, like, multiple shootings a day in this country, so they have plenty to pick from. They're just gonna lie about it. They're just gonna make shit up. Like, anytime they can use a shooting for political gain, they're just going to do it. So that's cool. We love that. Comments are finally starting to slow down after the recent video did so well. Naomi says every one of these shooters is some confused right-wing adjacent a-hole that they'll say is a leftist. Yeah, I mean, doesn't it? It's like literally like the people who track this violence say that it's like largely right-wingers. Isn't it so funny how, like, left-leaning people have this reputation for being anti-gun, but now apparently every single gun violence incident in the last 10 years has been a leftist or a Democrat? Isn't that crazy? How Democrats are, like, from the right-wing perspective, they're pussies who couldn't handle a weapon and would go down like that in a fight. But also they're responsible for every single mass shooting. Isn't that crazy? Quantum says it seems like a nihilist school shooter type thing, trying to go out with a spectacle more than anything. The ICE detainees he killed were in a van, so he wouldn't really have known who he was shooting. He was just shooting at the van. Okay. Yeah, anybody could have been in there, I guess. Remember how George Takei was a beloved Hollywood superstar that hid being gay publicly for more than 60 years? Yes, the right invented cancel culture. Exactly. Unfamiliar with Takis or The Line? Sure, Jom. In addition to doing my own stream here, I am also a co-host on a YouTube channel called The Line. The Line is a network of different shows across the whole week where basically, primarily, we are an atheist organization. We have humanist values, and primarily the goal is to be like, I don't know if you ever saw the old show. I think originally it played on TV and now it's a YouTube thing, The Atheist Experience, based out of Austin, Texas. The Atheist Community of Austin, the ACA. So the line is very similar to that. It's a call-in show where most of the time we're hosting calls about religion. Most of the shows have to do with religion. But then on Tuesday, we have Chewed Gum, where we have usually two women talking about religion from the woman's perspective. And they also talk about other things related to women and political rights and dating advice and different things like that, like, women and relationship-focused information. And then we have the Transatlantic Call-In Show, which is TACUS. And that's the one we do on Thursday, where we have two transgender hosts taking questions specifically about transgender issues, but we're coming at it from the atheist perspective. So we don't really take calls about religion on Thursdays, but we do come at it from that kind of skeptic perspective, skeptic atheist perspective. So I am a host there, and I also recently took on a production role. So I'm the person behind the scenes on a few of the shows where I do not personally make appearances, or I have made appearances before, but it's not a regular thing. The administration that may or may not have misplaced 1,200 people in a shallow hole in the Everglades might not care much about the people in their custody. That's so true. Yeah, isn't there there's a question right now as to like where more than 1,000 detainees in, quote, alligator Alcatraz, since they were forced to close the facility on account of they just slapped that bitch together and did not build it to code. Yeah, Chewed Gum, our show for the women, is a reference to the common misogynist insult. It's not just a misogynist insult. It's like pretty specifically like a purity culture, church religious thing, that impure women are chewed gum. Like, you wouldn't want to eat a piece of gum that had already been chewed, which is why you should stay a virgin. Blah, 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 blah. Everyone said CK getting shot was bad for the left, and I was just like, they were gonna do this anyway. I mean, yeah, maybe I'm desensitized to this because for the past, there were several high-profile shootings that they tried to say was a trans person. Like, literally, the shooting at a fucking gay nightclub, I think it was called Club Q, the one in Colorado that got shot up, they tried to say that guy was non-binary. It was like, so I'm just used to this. That was like 2 years ago. I'm just used to this now. Every single time there's a high-profile shooting, they're like, the shooter was non-binary. And I'm like, I don't think so. And also, I don't give a fuck if they were. Like, who cares? Shakespeare adds that Florida used to have concentration camps after the Civil War. Tens of thousands of recently freed slaves died in torturous manner. A lot of the nation did. It is part of our history that is still very unknown. Oh, wow, really? Like, I did not know that. Did they just, like, make camps and, like, kill off a bunch of slaves rather than turn them free? That's, like... I feel like that should feel like a more fucked up revelation, but it's completely fitting in with everything I know about America. Kill all these slaves rather than let them go free. Club Q in Colorado Springs. Pulse was Florida. Yes. Yes. Soroso says, I hate that CK was offed because it shows us again how absolutely ridiculously reverent they are for that idiot, and that is deeply, deeply disturbing to me. So I don't actually know. It feels like the administration is really rallying up around this, but what I was reading was that there was actually pretty low viewership for the event, the funeral event. Um, and it was just basically like the amount of engagement with this thing from regular people seems like it's much less than maybe they are hoping for. Like, I think that they were hoping to whip up a lot more people, but like, in a very profound sense, Charlie Kirk was kind of just a fucking guy. And like, I don't, I just, most people did not know who he was. We are in this space where people online can seem to have these giant followings. And yes, 1 million followers is a lot of followers, but 1 million people in a country of 350 million people, or like 300 million people, or whatever the number is, 1 million people is not that many people. So I don't know how big Charlie Kirk's podcast was at the time of his death, but it's not anywhere near 300 million people. It's just like, there's no way. It would surprise me if he even had 10 million viewers or subscribers or whatever. Like that, I would be very shocked. And that's TV numbers. Like 10 million is like bad TV numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. I just think that like they're really trying to make him a martyr, and just like, it's maybe most people in the right-wing base would have liked Charlie Kirk, but I think it's only the most radical online people who even knew who the fuck he was. Yeah, the changing landscape of how celebrity works now compared to 50 years ago. Totally. And like where you are a celebrity at. If you're a celebrity on television, that is way different than being a celebrity online. Way different. There's still like only so many different late night shows, and there's only so many different cable channels, but anybody can start a YouTube channel. The saturation of that market means that individual success is much more difficult, and the fact that it is not like nationally broadcast with advertisement associated with it, I mean, in both ways, advertisement of the product itself and advertisement money supporting those projects and boosting the views, and getting it out to more people and everything. Our country has never fully healed from the scars of slavery and the mistakes that happened during Reconstruction. No, totally, yeah. I like everything that happened after slavery has just been like, how can we continue to make life worse for these very specific groups of people within the constraints of getting our asses kicked in the war? The Political Punk, which I assume is a creator, has been diving in on the weird connections that Erica Kirk had with Trump when she was a model. Charlie, as it appears, met his wife directly due to Trump. It's all crazy. Oh my god, the connections. I always got the impression that CK was not particularly well liked, and neither is his widow. Yeah, I don't know, actually. Like, of the people who knew who he was, I'm not sure how well liked he was, I guess. It sort of depends. Like, you know, I saw a bunch of Christians celebrating him after he died, and like that, I read something that was like, Charlie Kirk does just say generically supportive things about Christianity. And so these Christians, that's all they see in their timeline. They don't see the horrendous white supremacy. They don't see the calling for gay people to be stoned. So some people think he was a good guy just because he said generically good Christian things. Or I don't know, things that Christians think are generically good, I should say. Like, not that they're objectively good, but things that Christians like to hear. Like, men just need to be strong, you know? Men just need to take care of their wives, and wives need to be, you know, good homemakers, and they need to listen to their husbands. Like, stuff like that, which most Christians think is pretty inoffensive shit. So, yeah, lots of people liked Charlie Kirk because they only saw that part of him. IDK, with every event like that they'll inevitably blame on us, I just feel like we're one step closer to political unrest escalating to the point where no one will really have time to respond. I guess that's me catastrophizing, though. I don't know. It's a slow rollout. Again, we have this whole big country, so you may have noticed that they are individually invading American cities because they don't have enough armed forces to deploy all at once everywhere. That's one thing about the United States really, really deeply relies on a promise of cooperation between the entities, the states, the cities, all this, to exist. Like, America is extremely dependent on the agreement of the states to be in this country because it is such a vast piece of land. And we do not have enough armed forces. We do not have enough National Guardsmen to effectively control through fear and armed forces all the cities and states of this country. So I'm in DC or close to DC, and lots of military bases is the thing. Sure, but why would they crack down on DC? They own DC. Or I guess they've kind of already cracked down on DC and they've made it clean, but they're now deploying elsewhere. They've already kind of done what they're going to do in DC, and they don't have the manpower to keep enough of their ICE agents in any one given place for a very long period of time. They got done with California, and now they're moving to Chicago. They can't deploy to Portland and Chicago at the same time, at least not as effectively as if they focus on only one. So what? They're going to take their army and invade Chicago and occupy it for a short period of time, and then something's gonna happen in Portland and they're gonna have to uproot all these soldiers and move them, and then what's gonna happen? They're gonna retake Chicago. Chicago's gonna retake itself. So I just think that it's gonna be a much more slow rollout than we think, and that it's gonna be a much more uphill battle than they think. At least that's what I hope. Again, many times I have attempted to predict something and I've been fucking wrong. So yeah. I picked the right time to finally try out some anxiety meds. Jesus, I hope that they work for you, kitty. We have no idea how many farmers are going to lose their farms if China doesn't start buying soybeans again. Argentina, meantime, has dropped export taxes to $0 for soybeans. Jeez. Yeah, that's... I didn't even know that, a large part of the soy that we create is bought in China. I guess we just have a lot more empty land for farming soybeans than they do. So it's just more convenient for us to sell it to them. I didn't know that until this whole debacle. But, yeah. How many farms are gonna go out of business? What's going on for the rest of the week, y'all? I'm gonna be on Takis tomorrow, and then I'm gonna do Calling It Now afterward. Calling It Now and Takis tomorrow, so I'm basically pulling a double. But I did tell Jimmy that I have a hard cutoff of 5 p.m., so I won't be staying super late like we have done in the past a couple times. I also am supposed to cook dinner tomorrow, so gotta make sure I'm getting all these things done. So Takis and Calling It Now tomorrow. And then, as far as I know, I'm gonna try to do a solid Friday, Saturday off this week. I might still have... I don't know. I guess, man, that's the tough thing about going on Takis on Thursday is I don't actually have a lot of time to edit anything. And then I could edit and upload a video on Friday, but then I'm not respecting my weekend. Just because I could work on Friday doesn't mean that I should. I should respect my time, but then that means that I'm not going to have a video out until Tuesday at the earliest next week, so... Trying to figure out how to balance all my time. I had some stuff that I needed to deal with this past week or two, so just not as productive as I was hoping for. Yeah, upcoming this week, looking forward to a Thursday. Saturday also likely in the forecast. That's true. What time is Transatlantic? Transatlantic is at 2 p.m. Central Time on Thursdays, which I know is not convenient for everybody. Most of the rest of our shows happen in the evening. We are not going to get Jimmy to move it. I don't know why. We are not able to convince him that it needs to be an evening show. We do calling it now afterwards, so I guess that brings us into the evening. But anyway, I have to get my brakes and calipers replaced tomorrow afternoon, so you guys better make Takis entertaining since you're going to be keeping me company while I sit in the waiting room. Yeah. Sometimes we just don't get any spicy callers, and I find those shows really frustrating. Sometimes we just only get friendly callers, which is... I'm not saying, like, don't call in if you're friendly, but just, like, that's how it works. Sometimes we don't get any callers who are spicy. Laser hair removal for my face soon. Hell yeah. Congratulations. Jom says, I don't think the, quote, crackdown in DC is really a crackdown at all. I suspect that they just want the forces present there because they know that they are going to push the general public to a breaking point and they want to have protection close by against the raging mob. Maybe. That could make sense. Andrew for the millionth time isn't spicy anymore. Listen, I'm sorry, Naomi. The numbers kept going up while Andrew was on. You know, we were lingering at like the low 700 viewers, and then like we ended up in the almost 870 while Andrew was on. So I know that like the tried and true fans don't like Andrew, but the algorithm does. So I'm so sorry. It's like the tension and the struggle between the business decision of who to keep on for longer versus like our core audience not liking it. But I think if there is a choice between like our core audience of people who already agree with us wanting or not wanting something, I think that whatever gets us out to more people is going to take priority because we are trying to de-radicalize people. There are rumors that Ryan Walters, who's the greatly beloved superintendent of Oklahoma, is going to resign this week. Oh God, is he the guy who said that you have to teach the Bible in Oklahoma schools? Is that the guy? Oh gosh. Well, you guys, I know it's a little early, but I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'm gonna get a little pre-dinner snack since dinner's not gonna be ready until probably like 7 or 8 o'clock. So 5 o'clock, it's time for me to have a snack, get off here, rest my voice. Maybe I'll do a little bit of editing tonight. I don't know. I'll get ready for Takis tomorrow. And so I'll see you guys on Takis tomorrow. And I hope you have a good evening and all the good things. Only good things for you. Sweet dreams. Sleep well.